It is time for another day of Street Fighter League Japan action. They are throwing hands in Japan, and we have more action for you. It's episode 7, day 1, and we're gonna see who's going to continue them top spots as we get closer and closer to the middle ground. Today's gonna be Nagoya Ojibody Star Miladam going up against Gyogun. And I can't wait to see once again who is going to take it in the end. My name is Seiko. I'll be joined with Vicious soon, but at the moment, we have our teams right now. As I said, Nagoya Ojibody Star Club Gyogun for our first match of the day. Nagoya Ojibody Star sitting in that second position, and Gyogun sitting in 4th place, not far behind. See you stays 5. Remember, this is a team tournament. This is something different we typically would see. It's a 4v4. We send in 3 of the players, and those 3 go up for the first to 2, and first to 3, with 10, 10, and 20 points respectively on the line. And if it does happen, could be an anchor match, was the first one to get it done to get that 5 points, the walkway that we have seen before. But now I see this up on the screen. How are you doing, my friend?
I'd be doing a lot better if I was actually in competition for 8 million yen. I just gotta say, you know, I was doing the calculations in the back, my computer overloaded and exploded, but the fact of the matter is that's going to be a lot of yen on the line for these players. But what's really important is the fact that they get to play off against the champions of Street Fighter League EU as well as US over at Capcom Cup. So really excited through and through to see how this plays out. Again, this is week number 7. It is technically day 1 for these teams, so we are just about to get those run backs after this week, right? This is pretty much the final roundup to see how these teams fare up against each other, finally getting all these matches out of the way to see what the strategy is going to be. But this is pretty important, as you mentioned, right, St. Cola? We see who's coming up with Gyogun, who had a fantastic, or actually a pretty decent running going into like week 6. I believe they scored how many points now? I feel like a decent amount of points. They got 20. They got a big blowout in week 6 with 40, or week 5 with 40 points. But Shinobiism Gaming has been doing crazy work, which will be in the second match. But as it stands right now, Nagoya Ojibody Star is quite the team to go up against, especially in the home advantage position.
Yeah, I mean, they're feeling fine right now, as you said before. As we both said before, in the second place spot, 180 points right now. Would love to overtake Good 8 Squad, who sits at the top, and they're not far behind. And you have such a stacked team. You have the Beast. We're going to get all into that, the Beast and Fudo and things like that. But having these 40 balls coming through for them, for these wins, having such a strong solidified team of just great players, but not only that, a solidified good roster. We talked about how the roster of the players is important, but also the characters too as well. And I feel like they have a very well-rounded team of players that it's a combination of characters that you've seen and not seen, and now we're going to see them come up on the deck right here. This is the 2D god himself. Gyogun's getting ahead of myself, but he is the 2D god Mago Gyogun. Right after that, it's going to be Mr. Optimal Machapo with that Nakali play. No longer with the Scammy Cammy, all about the Nakali. Then we have Suzaku, Mizuwa coming in at 3rd with that fantastic. He's really found himself with the Cody though. And last but not least, is going to the hero of Sunrise himself, Moke, proving that Rashid still has what it takes to compete.
Yeah, I feel like with the way that this team has been performing, they're going to be pretty high on momentum, right? I think back-to-back games, they've had a decent amount of points, but what does that mean to a team like Nagoya Ojibody Stars? Coming in hot and heavy, I got to say, Akira has been quite the team leader. Quite the young gun for his entire team coming with that Cammy. Daigo Umehara, the living legend, to follow to pick him up afterwards. You could ask for no better guile. And just in case that doesn't work, we have the attack heavy. I was going to say the attack heavy Titan, really. The attack heavy tank Fudo, the poison Ito if need be. And of course, back with and Narikun and then Akira. That's one of the players that I actually had my eye on. I've seen a little bit of his before than CFM. I want to know when they're going to put him up for the big counterpick, right? With the home advantage this week, I want to know whether or not they're going to take advantage of the white element and utilize them for certain matchups that might be a little uncomfortable for Nagoya Ojibody Star. But that begs the question, it's like, are there any matchups that are a little awkward for this roster? I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, overall, like, he's a strong character, but when you look at the roster right here, it's difficult to fit him against some of these characters. If they are going to fit him, I think he has to go first against Machibo. On paper, at least a very grazing sort of analysis would be that Akira can outrange the character that is in the college. Really has to worry about the V skill, knockdown. Obviously, that's been better this season for Nakali. However, crouching mini kick, forward fierce, going to be fantastic to win that match. But then again, Nakali has really good ways to get in. His jump ins are really great. Even though she's got a great DP, his jump ins are fantastic. On ground, you got to worry about the crouching mini kick. And when the activation starts, it'll be hard to stop the dash in situation. So I think you're right. It's going to be hard to fit him where it needs to be. And honestly, it looks like Fudo says he's going up first with the poison pick already. We see Fudo, who's been a big breadwinner, come through in the clutch for the team.
Yeah, we'll see how that plays out. Again, revealing the current roster, Machibo being the first one up is going to be kind of tricky to navigate, right? I think not a lot of players are focusing on a character like Nakali as much. Even Hameko, during the preview for Hameko's choice, he didn't even have an answer to see like who you would throw up against Machibo, but it's going to be Fudo, right? I think a surefire bet is playing somebody who may be able to outrange Nakali in some sort of way, whether it's like trying to track down the D skill with a whip so that he doesn't have to worry about those mid-range games as much. I think Poison's a good choice, but we'll see how that plays out, because I don't like the fireball game. I don't like throwing Daigo in there. I don't like I think Akuda can do it. But yeah, I think I want to see, I'd rather test it out with someone like Fudo.
Yeah, I think that's a really safe option, safe choice, but having Fudo this early means it obviously cannot be utilized a little bit until later on if the first one comes through. So it's important. They obviously have a game plan for this, and it says that Fudo says that he will do his best and come up with the perfect game plan. I think that's going to be predicated on what you had put out before. Long range with the specials and things like that, keeping the character out as much as possible, and anti-airing with the crouch medium punch if need be. But Machibo says he has prepped himself, and he's hoping to show that. And he's shown that, honestly, in the league so far. He's doing pretty decent out here. Machibo's 2-2. He's won against the Crusher Birdie first of 2, and then lost to Gunfights Oro in the first one with Nakali. Then beat Nauman's Luke in the anchor match, but then lost to Gotch-kun's Rashid. So his scoreboard ain't too bad. We're going to get more on the board.
We'll see how that plays out. Again, Machibo, I love him going with Nakali this season in comparison to him trying to find his confidence from the previous season. I think just him going out with the character he trusts the most is to his benefit, really. But Fudo has been super steady with a character like Poison, right? Fantastic win record overall. 5 out of the 6 games he has won. That is quite impressive. I mean, I think in comparison to like last year, I think Fudo was one of the main point earners. I think that was like a big stat that we've tracked last year. But as it stands right now, he's still keeping up the pace. I think there's not a lot that's really deterred him thus far. If you take a look at week number 5 specifically, we can have that matchup for you to talk about. I believe Fudo had lost to Kawano, and that was the big counter pick, right? That was the big Lucia pick where he fell 0-3. And that's something that was completely unprecedented. We did not see that coming, not even with the amount of records we've seen on CFN. Like, I went to Kawano's CFN afterwards. I didn't even get to see it because it's only like a certain amount of time afterwards where you could see like a certain amount of matches. So I was like, oh, well, that's weird. I didn't see that one at all. It just flew under my radar.
I'm sure they got those hiding accounts. They talked about that last season where they had like the hiding accounts where they're practicing on the low, and maybe have those rookie accounts where they just have it just for the purpose of just hiding their character choices and stuff like that. Their secret training. Some of them are more obvious than others. Daigo is not willing to hide that, but having that secret pick caught Fudo off guard. However, besides that, as you pointed out, had stayed steady and just recently won against Storm Kubo's Alex was able to stay solid in scramble situations. So he's a big breadwinner out here for the team. The 4-1 so far. Let's see if we can get it done against Nakali. But I want to go back to what you said about Machibo picking a character that he feels comfortable with. That comfortability we've seen time and time again people in League Japan. It's not really about picking what's best. It's not really about picking, the new and stuff like that. Sometimes going with what works has worked for years upon years makes you feel comfortable in a match and lets you operate faster. Makes you feel more confident in scramble situations. situations, makes you, you have those optimal situations a lot more down packed because you've been playing the character for years upon years. So that may help out the matchup that may not be that favorable from Nakali on paper, but in a match like that, it might happen with something different where he's like, oh, I can find these jump ins a little bit more confidently, or I can find these confirms a lot more confidently than pick a Cammy.
Yeah, we'll see how that works out. I mean, he's going to need all the confidence he can get against a character like Poison. I think we talk about player to player. Let's kind of talk about character to character on paper. I think Nakali can pose somewhat of a threat. No pun intended. Slight pun intended. Whatever, it's fine. I think he can pose some sort of threat against Poison with that V skill. I think it's pretty important, and being able to kind of change your trajectory can maybe be a nuisance, especially when you're directly above her. Being able to change that trajectory and stop the crouching medium punch. I think that's going to be two of the big factors here that Fudo's looking for, right? Trying to outclass the V skill and trying to stop the air approach. We'll see if that ever comes to play. Already starting things off. We saw that crouching heavy punch stuffing out the V skill. Fudo already had it in mind.
Yes. Already knew that was going to be an option. That builds up so much bar this season. It's so quick with the start to react in the corner. Finds a fierce buffer. Oh my God. And the V skill getting that Oki. Right back to mid screen. Does not want to be caught up in the corner. We've seen the strike throw come from Machibo. Does not want to get hit with the grip. Gonna find that heavy kick crush, not happening. And Fudo checking the approach, but here's the activation.
Oh, that's gonna be so important. Fudo loves to go down back, right? He just wants to make sure he doesn't take any sort of damage off of normals, which was a big opening for Machibo, getting the first command grab of many to potentially come. But now Fudo, he was trying to find his way out of the corner, and he finds the interruption and gets a stomp. That is gonna be more than enough damage. Fudo successfully holding his ground from the corner. Very slick, and I love that, man. That was Machibo trying to steal away turns, and Fudo was not gonna let that slide.
Proper interruption right there with the crouch mini kick to get the activation. But here we go. Machibo off to a great round start. As soon as I say that commentator's curse, you wouldn't know worse. EX waits and baits, gets a big punch in the crush counter, and that means V-bar built up and damage too. So is the stun. Gotta play this carefully. There's a crush.
Oh.
No conversion on the crouch mini kick though. Nothing. Gets out that corner.
And I love that, yes, though, being able to track down the backdash with the V skill. Machibo is going to let the Molotov pretty much get out of his way. He's going to be backing up from it, but no, the second one is going to be coming in hot. No pun intended. Oh, that's going to be a lot of damage. I can't tell if that's going to be burning up enough to kill. It actually is. That's crazy. It's not. Oh, I thought it was going to kill. That's one touch away.
The Poison. She can definitely do it. Here's the super.
So good.
The rebuttal. Now it's time to guess. Press against the wall. The jab and the crouching line to catch him walking back like that. What an option for Fudo. It would have rage too. The call out. Man, Fudo.
Hey, I didn't think that was going to be
too aggressive
within range. I didn't think that was going to be within range at all. Fudo being able to utilize that crouching short, and that's actually pretty tricky. It was fast enough to catch Machibo walking backwards. But to be fair, that could have gone either way. That was a guess for game scenario on both ends. I think, you know, Machibo had a big choice to commit to, right? Either keep Fudo guessing with the normal, or keep him guessing with a command grab.
That's true. Maybe try to back up for a heavy kick too. You know, let the party system take the wheel, interrupt some of those mediums, and check a dash before it can come in. But man, Fudo just knows how to utilize his character in a different sort of way. I mean, so different than what you see from like Idom, who is typically a little bit more lamer. But I feel like Fudo's defense is a little bit more aggressive. You see that crouching light kick from a lot more from Fudo, or from these like dash and burst situations where you don't really expect him to try to leave the corner like that. And that's what's allowing him to stay steady against Machibo. And not for nothing, he's reading the defensive tendencies of Machibo too. He called the DP, waited and baited, and he's just able to take advantage of these situations. And then also that crouch mini kick with that activation to interrupt the stomp. He just knows when to put the right buttons where and place them in the right sequences. And now he's up one game.
Yeah, I think there's a way to time it so that either way, like you can kind of like option select it, where if you delay the button long enough, you would be able to at least block a true block string for a stomp block string, and also be in time to check any of the heavier stomps. I think you could have, yeah, you can do the same thing with Kage also. There is a way to kind of interrupt those, or you can just react to it if you're Fudo. I'd imagine he could just react to it, but I kind of want to check that out now on CFN, which is funny because like Hamiko was doing the same thing earlier during the preview show. he was breaking down the CFN between Crusher and Daigo. That match was actually crazy, where we saw the last minute command grab. What's crazy is, just to kind of sidetrack here, Crusher actually initiated the EX command grab right at the 3rd frame. It was like before Daigo was fully up and ready to act. Got him right at the right frame. It was frame perfect actually to get that EX the EX command grab. But I digress. So I gotta say, I think there's plenty of time for Fudo to either react or option select to get that interruption going. And it was still impressive either way.
And the great thing about that is, like, you're using a different sort of defense that doesn't use V bar. Like, you're not using V-ship into like a punish or things like that. What you're using is the innate defense, so you can save that bar for something different with it, for like V-trigger. So that allows you to rotate more defensive options and then save your bar for offense or maybe defense for later on. So Fudo, again, getting aggressive with it, being able to take down Machibo. And I wonder what Machibo is going to do. I feel like Machibo had the right ideas in the corner, just needs to shore it up a little bit and really read the rhythm of what Fudo wants to do. Maybe more of the strike though, maybe more of the heavy normals coming through to check the lighter stuff from Fudo. But it's easier said than done. We've seen those things be rotated. Crutch like kick, I didn't think was going to hit either. So it's one of those things where Macho is going to have to really put on a lot more pressure, but in the right sort of way. See what he does.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious to see what the thought process is for Gyogun, or at least what their team is saying for Machibo, because I don't think he did that poorly at all. I don't think it was like a blowout. It could have been like 2 rounds, but it wasn't like a devastating 2 rounds. You know what I mean? I think even with that critical art, sure, it was like a big comeback that was happening. It was a big opener, but I still think Machibo can apply even more pressure with the usage of command grabs or just the strike throw mix-up game that we were just talking about. But yeah, we are still trying to get the second match between these two going. I know there have been technical difficulties all day. Discord decided to stop on me as well. I know Macho was having a little bit of that experience too. That's a different matchup. I don't know what character you could pick against Discord, but you better pick the right one. You better call your technician. I don't know. You better call a mod or somebody. I don't know, man. Call your ISP. Call Sankola. He'll fly over there. I'm sure he will.
Oh no, don't.
He'll help you guys out.
No, I'm not taking that. Don't do it. You'll be in more trouble. You'll be in more trouble. It'll be even worse. Oh, let's see who's put the worst right here. And Macho can make the comeback. Oh, the loose. Vicious. What is going on with this Lucia picks out here? Street Fighter League Japan. What are they seeing in this matchup?
This is actually kind of crazy. Well, okay, so a couple of things, right? Lucia can close the gap pretty well and punish against the crouching heavy punches. Can also get a big activation route off of a block V-skill into V-trigger. So there's a lot that can be said. I think Lucia does a great job of closing the gap just like that. This is actually
Fudo getting rushed out with the crush. Oh yeah, these character picks right here. Brad kick going over the crouch meaty kick. We saw that option previously, denying Fudo that approach for the activation. Catch some of these lows.
And that's something we actually haven't seen utilized at all by Kawano, the fireball game. Machibo actually let her rock just a little bit. There's a sweep activation, checking a low for the movement just in case. Getting out of there with a V-shift. I wonder how much practice Fudo has had against Lucia. Oh, the big interrupt!
A side switch here for Fudo. Switch the comeback, crouch fears. Careful now. Interruption through the gap like that. He definitely said the data. After what happened with Kawano, interrupt and found himself on set point.
This is sick. Actually, I wanted to see how Fudo was gonna adapt to the Lucia pick. And so far, I will say, technically, you know, Machibo using that sweep into V-trigger shouldn't be let loose for free.
He's looking at the tape. Fudo back with it, the back throw. Oh, can go for the super. Still has the plus range. Hit it here. Hit it with the super.
That's so much excess, man. That ender for like using critical art, like I get finishing out the round, but I think there could have been a better route that Machibo could have chosen using at least like a bar or like 2 bars. Oh my god.
Right. That's an lacking optimization where you pick a character, you're strong with them, but you don't have those tendencies that you typically would see if you was playing like Nagali. Now the corner carry, Fudo with a better round start. And now just not trying to get hit with those sweeps off the feet into the crushes and not letting Macho get the activation as soon as I say that. My bad. Side switch with it. And now putting him with a medium into the crouch mini kick. EX. This is bad in the corner. You do some work here.
Do it again. Watch out for the throw. Oh, and I love that you're still, yeah, you're -2. It doesn't even matter. But we do get a crush counter. Fudo out of the corner now. Full bar. Had to use that V-shift break, and I get it. Fudo not wanting to rely on that V trigger. Does have critical art though, so that's going to be a big deal. If he gets some landing, the final fight combo.
Oh, that's a new target.
Oh my god.
Falls to the EX fireball though. Fudo. Macho is still in. What a jump-in decision from Macho. Wow.
That was actually super unlucky. Super unlucky for Fudo.
Too committed to the ground game. But they have a jump-in though with this kind of character is real good. That means like he's reading that rhythm really well, Macho. Taking some of those tips from Nakali and now getting in to Fudo with a crack kick over and over again. Right back at him. B-skill. Now push him to the corner with the mid-whip, with that stun. But you see how Macho was taking some risk to get the reward. Not anymore.
Gets the activate after the V-skill. Still applying pressure. V-shift out of there. And I love that. For the plus frames, the back dash is there. That's going to be a huge amount of damage incoming now from Macho. Ugh. Sit him down. Do it again.
Bro.
Oh, it's too far.
The meaty. Look at the finish.
Oh,
V-shift called him leaving. He said, one more thing, I'm not done talking to you. That EX fireball to catch him trying to V-shift away in the corner. Now Macho on set point. The surprise pick to do it once again. The jumping. Look at the confidence. Macho walking into the corner with the V-skill.
Oh, that's going to be a heavy starter. Fudo getting a lot of damage on the table already with that critical art, but it doesn't even equalize it as much, right? Sure, he's got a slight advantage, but now it gives Macho a lot more resources to work with. The big crush counter from Fudo, though. He's trying to make it so that Macho doesn't get a chance to play. After he's stunned. Ooh, wee. Now we got ourselves a game.
Fudo says never again. Not me. Now we're at final game, final round. Can he take the Lucia down? Can he get his final fight revenge out here? Where's Macho? Gonna come through in the clutch for his team. Another jump in. Too committed to the ground game. That kick puts him in the corner. Her throw pressure is really strong. Got the medium punches, the light kicks, and things like that. Uh-oh, sun's rising.
He actually got it. Can he build up enough damage? He builds bar after this. Final fight combo. Oh, that's going to be a lot of damage too. Cooking him up. EX uppercut Macho, you madman. That actually was the perfect time to do it. Had he waited for the next sequence, if he had got bodied the next sequence with a full combo, that would have been so dangerous. But Macho pulling it out early, that is impressive. Yo, I legit can't believe Fudo lost to Lucia again. I actually can't even believe we saw the counterplay from Lucia again to stop Fudo. That's wild, man. Like, that's, of all people, of all players, to do it, I did not expect it to be Macho, and I did not expect it to be now. Like, that's so impressive. They really want these points, man.
Yeah, they hungry for it. They'll, again, do what it takes. It's such a big risk because you would have to expect that Fudo would have started that match right after it happened. Like, would have went to CFN and said, all right, how do I get it? How do I get my win? How do I stop this character? These plus frames and things like that. How do I interrupt them? However, I think in this, when it's like in a first or two, it's hard to acclimate, even if it is the character that you fought previously who have the data on them, because the difference in terms of playstyle was too different. Like Macho going for these sweeps off the feet, risky, but pay off in the clutch. These jump-ins, risky, but it paid off in the clutch. In the fact that we saw the bust out at the very end, risky, but paid off in the clutch. What lengths would you go to take down one player, one character? Macho says, I will pick Lucia to get the win right here, and that's another one for their team. And another Lucia win. The Lucia players out here finally clapping their heads saying, thank you. representation for my character, because we don't get to see that character ever.
Man, I can feel somewhere James Chen is having like night shivers. He's like, what? Somebody's winning with Lucia? I was gonna do the voice, but I couldn't do it. But yeah, I'd imagine he's somewhere. He's like, what? I can't believe this is happening. But believe it, ladies and gentlemen. No, I will say this has been a proven fact right now. I mean, Kawano has done it. Machabo has done it. Who else is going to be doing it?
Might be the pick later on. We'll see what happens. Right now, we're seeing a lot of these jump-ins come through, and not that many anti-airs from Fudo. I think that was a big tail of tapes right here. 2 out of 8, only 25% of the anti-airs. Fudo's usually on the deck, and he's really usually on point with that. We see the up kicks and things like that, crouching medium punch. However, he was just too focused on the ground game. Presented with the crouching medium kick, crack kick, the fireballs. One thing that Macho did better than Kawano and was more focused on was the fireballs. And I think that kind of put in too much mental stack on the side of Fudo. Now, who will Oja Body Star send up to fight Mizuha, who has kind of been on a tear a little bit lately? I don't want to say, he's been on a ridiculous tear, but just seeing the quality of his Cody in the last anchor match, he might be hard to stop.
Oh, I really would love to know. Yeah, okay, so it's gonna be Akira. I mean, we see the camera panning towards the captain. I want to know, looking at his previous record, right? I kind of want to know what it's like for Akira against Luke specifically. This has been the season of Luke. That is an absolute fact. Right, but as it stands right now, I haven't seen. I mean, he's played against Yamaguchi in week number 4. He took it down 2-1. Other than that, yeah, I don't even see him facing off against other Lukes that much or as much. But the last time he did, I'm sorry, I misspoke. Week number 2, he bodied Nauman 2-0, and that was it. Actually, he's got a hot streak against Luke.
Yeah, he's been the Luke killer, as he put it. I think that aggression is really hard to stop, and I feel the Luke players have not really found a way to play. However, Mizuha could go with the Cody. There was a time where Cody was, I don't want to say considered a counter pick, but did well against Cammy when she was at her strongest. And I think now could do very well in that matchup too. Mizuha himself says, we're on the wayside, so we need to come up with a game plan, and he's been working on it. So we'll see what he comes up with. There is the Cody, of course, and Akira with the Cammy. I'm really curious to see how that aggression that Akira has, the wake up EX dive kicks, the jump ins, the hooligans, and things like that are going to work out against a character that has standing fierce as an anti-air, crouch fierce as an anti-air, knife throw as an anti-air, and could go with the V-skill 1 to also get it done in terms of the easy anti-air. And Mizuha, who's also an aggressive player, as we saw previously, again, won that anchor match, has not been on the best in terms of results. He's 1-4. He lost to Tokido's Luke with Cody, lost to Mochi's Cody in the anchor mirror match, then lost again to Higuchi in the anchor mirror match, but then beat Pugera's Balrog in the anchor match, but then lost to Gachikun in the first one that they had right after. So he's 1-4, but I do think that anchor match was really telling about how strong he's gotten with his Cody. It's taken him a little bit to adjust to that character, and I'd like him honestly to stick with this character over Luke. I feel like when I watch him on CFN and watch him practice, that this is his character right here. The Luke is good, but the Cody is great.
Yeah, I've seen him do the same kind of exercises as well. Like I just actually started following him more so this year to see like how he's been balancing both characters right now. I think you're right. I think the Cody play might be the way to do it. I think also there's a lot more consistency with this character. Well, actually, no, not super consistency, but yeah, Luke is obviously a very, very good character, but he's also kind of difficult to pilot well, right? It's weird to say this, but hear me out, right? He's got all the tools,
okay,
right? He's amazing. He's got all the tools. But there are some inconsistencies in regards to like trying to outplay somebody in footsies. Like everybody knows about the ranges now. You see how it is at high level. There still hasn't been enough time for some of these players to really pilot this character well. I might be talking way out of my jurisdiction, but that's just how I see it right now. I think as good as Luke is, it still needs a little bit more time to develop how he needs to play in the meta. But right now, Mizuha going with the Cody play is pretty good.
I think you're onto something because we've seen not every single Luke has one in these matches, right? We've seen Luke's have to get better, have to develop strategies against the characters, and obviously Luke is a strong character. Don't get it twisted, y'all. I know y'all are, oh, Luke, but the thing is, you have to get stronger with the character. It takes time to get strong with the character. It takes a lot of time to get solidified with the character, and sometimes just because the character is strong doesn't mean you can just pick and pilot them. You know, just because you can pick up Luke doesn't mean you're going to be at the highest level taking all these W's and things like that if it doesn't fit your sort of style. If you're not a Shoto player, you may not know how to do the fireball style and DPs and things like that. You may be better suited for something different. So picking Luke isn't always a solution. And for a lot of Luke players that we've seen up in the league, they're not winning all their matchups. You know, Yamaguchi's at the top spot in terms of winning. But as we pointed out, Akira has been the Luke killer. He has been taking down the Lukes with that aggression, and walking these distances with Luke is feeling uncomfortable to try to poke. Even with that medium punch, we've seen that get whiff punish. Standing medium kick get whiff punish. The fantastic buttons of Luke not always landing. So if they're not landing, you know, it's not as bad to fight this character. He's still a threat. He's still top 3, obviously. But it's not going to be just, I'm going to pick Luke and get a W.
Yeah. And I think that stands pretty high up there within the league, right? If you actually have been paying attention to what's actually been going on with some of these players, like I think one of the players to look at obviously has been Tokido. Just for example's sake, I'm looking at his record too. There are certain instances where he's not getting like all the W's. You would think on paper it's like, all right, well, if it's Tokido, one of the best players to ever do it, piloting Luke, he should have a flawless record. That's not the case, right? He hasn't actually had he hasn't even had like one of the best records thus far in the league. Actually, when you're looking at like V6 plus, he's fallen short. Not to put him on the spot or anything, right? He's fallen short two times over from weeks 4 and 5, right? Even before that, Tokido, he's been a little shaky. So it's just something to really think about. He's been going back and forth with Urian as well. So, but just to kind of make that example known, I do not blame Mizuha from going back and forth between like Luke and Cody for certain matches.
Yeah, there's some matchups that Luke could definitely do better in, and just survive in. Like, even if the Sim Luke matchup isn't like the best, it's way better than playing Sim and Cody. So I do think that he should keep the Luke for those matchups. Obviously, he's gonna have to work on that character and bring him up to that main spot like he has with Cody. However, you know, the Cody's going to be the main pick. And I mean, listen, go back to Tokido. Him losing to Morito in the CPT recently in the World Warrior event had people thinking maybe Dan beats Luke. So that's not the case. That's not the case. What it is that it's more than just like my character is strong and beats other characters. My character has these tools and beats other characters. There's a lot more playing fighting games, and especially in Street Fighter 5 where it's so balanced that even matchups that might be 6-4, 5-5, and things like that, it's hard to see who's going to take the victory because there's other elements. Their play styles, what their approach is, how their meter gate is. There's a lot more than just this character beats this character or this character strong or whatever. There's more than just what's based on paper. Like that in fighting games.
That's one of the best parts. Being able to body somebody because of your experience with the character and experience in the matchup is always going to be one of the most satisfying feelings in the realm of fighting games. That's for sure. Talking about the matchup on paper, I think there's a lot to be said with Cody in regards to the Cammy matchup specifically, right? I think Crime Sway does a lot to deter a lot of the airborne threats. I think there's a lot to be said in regards to what happens with V-Shift as well, being able to contest against somebody like Akira. We've actually seen Akira use it for himself as well. So since you have that kind of neutral strategy, and I don't mean neutral in the gameplay, like both these characters have an even playing field with being able to utilize their V-Shift, right? I think still Cody has the advantage being able to play defense with Crime Sway more often than Cammy does in regards to trying to like jump in on Cody or whatever, like at least trying to balance it out with offense or whatever. I think Cody still is going to have a pretty decent time playing against this matchup, both on the ground and in the air.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, there's the walks we have to worry about with Cammy, and her buttons are still really good. She can kind of outpoke him in some ranges, but that medium kick of Cody is real nasty. And if he decides to go for the V-skill one, that's a really easy anti-air. And with all those options on the table, even just presented, you're worrying about getting these jump ins, and you may be deterred from that dive kick jump in kind of style that Akira loves to do. So if you are able to delete that style of Akira off the table, he's gonna have to switch to something different with it. He's gonna have to switch to that ground game, which he has presented, but maybe not really put on the deck as much as, okay, jumping, dive kick, hooligan, things like that. And the damage differential, oh my God, when Cody hits you, it definitely hurts, especially the lower health of Cammy this season. So for good reason, you have to be blocking things out, don't get whip punished, don't get hit. And again, using that V-bar for the V-ship, because I don't think he really needs V-trigger in this match all the time, might be a really good deterrent against someone like Akira. He's gonna have to play real on point to delete the character's health of Cody to really get in against this character and maybe not make those mistakes. He's been really good about being on point. We saw last season, he kind of, you know, hang himself a little bit more than he should. And now this season, I feel like he's a lot more stratified and has a lot more strategy in his sequences. Let's see who's gonna take it though.
Okay, so this is pretty important to note. It's gonna be V-Skill 1. Right, you got the classic Final Fight special move, right? That is the first, technically the bootleg Tatsu is what I like to call it. But this is gonna be pretty important. I think it's gonna be interesting to note that you're gonna be taking some gray health in exchange for getting a very solid anti-air.
That's true. Coming through the skies the wrong sort of way. Brown play right here, gets a 4-piece. That spiral arrow with the Oki. Gonna put it back in the corner, but there's that medium kick, harassing, right back with it. Akira not to turn.
You see it.
With the neutral.
About that ground
About
game.
even on life.
That forward thrown out. It's gonna be so close to getting towards the corner. A little bit of a sound knuckle, and that's gonna be huge. Yeah, activation off of that medium kick. And look at the amount of damage. Forward throw. You're still within range to poke. No, we actually went up for something else. Akira, the Speed Star. That is actually so sick. The light conversion. You want to talk about light conversions with knife? I'll show you a knife. The Speed Star pulling it all out. Crouching jab into activation. This guy is a sick player, man. This guy is a genius.
Absolutely. Get a docking here. Sick, like get a docking here, trying to get the throw though. I do like the ground starts have been kind of opening up. Akira walking with the medium kick. D-ship into break. Makes him hold that, throw down to the ground. You go. Threatening the idea of the EX song. Walking back and forth with the charge, with dash in. Akira, again, not the turret. He's going to run his game plan either way. Oh, whips the anti-air. V-ship for a V-ship. It finds a punch. We saw that before. Akira with that bar.
Send help. Just about even. You see the trigger. Also, he was not able to react to the EX dive kick. Mizuha backing him off just a little bit. This is gonna be so tough.
Careful now. He's got a knife. The knife to a fist. There's a bar at the bottom. Akira would love to get that activation. Does it raw. Will he make him fall? Look at the dive kick. Maybe Salt take back the turn. Side switch. Oh, you whip. You get hit. Akira.
Super sick. Yeah, Akira, I don't even know what the chatter is, but I can tell, you know, Akira, the way he ended that round was actually super sick, right? Crouching medium punch, got the counter hit, just immediately to the uppercut. He's like, I don't want to mess with this combo. I'm just going to mash into it. It's going to be just fine. I like that. First game for Akira.
Round 1. Fight.
I like the fact that he did not wait to find the activation like on hit, just immediately activated raw. Able to do what he had to do to get the damage. Round starts have been really good for Misa overall, but he's just not able to close it out. That B skill really hasn't been a problem as Akira hasn't been disguised too much. Ground game, he actually has a game plan to work against his character. Song gets him in the corner with the medium ruffian, but again, the answer back to this light stuff from Akira. Trying to push his way out of the corner.
So far, so good. I gotta say, this is a big turnaround here for Mizuha. Gets a forward throw. Checks with a couple of buttons now. Crouching medium punch is a big deterrent, but Akira still moving forward, finding a way out with the V reversal, and light kick is all Mizuha needs to get that into EX song.
After Zonks are coming into play, he'll come through with the dive kicks and the jump ins, or he'll just dash in, get the counter hit 4-piece in the quarter carry. Akira still wants to run this grounded game plan. Look, we're working out, takes back the turn, and you see that Mizuha tried to press in that -2 situation.
Oh, sorry, gets the back throw now. Trigger is still winding down little by little. Akira is not gonna press the issue yet. We're looking for a big hit as Cammy. Or, oh, okay, I love that. Yeah, that makes sense. Being able to V reversal out of Zonk's way. not even looking for the plus 50. I love that. Yo, what a bust out. That V-skill 1, throwing it pretty randomly, I will say.
In the corner, trying to get that crouch fierce for a crush. Knife throw, it's off the table. Mizuha would like to build some bar to threaten that EX Zonk, but now Akira, that right distance, trying to get that one hit to do it for that super. And he find the answer. What's the approach? Oh, just fist to face, that's the approach. Heavy ruffian for the ender, Mizuha still in.
Someone like Cody, I feel like that's the only way. Fist to face style, that's exactly what's going to be coming out from the Metro Brawler, right? All tied up, one apiece. There's a lot to be said in regards to Cody's neutral, right? There's so much that occupies a lot of the space that kind of keeps Akira in check most of the time.
That's true. I feel like that wild style that you want to play, that aggressive style, does get halted with the medium kick and the medium punch, and the damage differential that we talked about has been way in the favor of Cody. Those EX Zonks, the heavy addition, when they hit, they definitely hurt. We've seen those medium kick ruffians, the wild style come out every so often from the likes of Mizuha too as well. He's not deterred from also just running that raw ruffian every so often in the neutral. And Akira just kind of reeling back. We saw him kind of getting a little bit frustrated that his game plan is not working out on the ground. I like to see the jump ins come through. The V-skill has kind of stopped that approach, but you can't take that off the table completely. That is a game plan of Cammy. She's got to be able to get the dive kicks to come in and start that jump in mix-up sort of situation. I'd like to see that implemented a little bit more, sprinkled just a little bit more.
Yeah, we're going to see whether or not that's going to come to fruition, or whether or not it's going to be like the big game changer. I'm actually kind of curious to see that as well. I want to know what it's going to be like once that actual strategy gets implemented. But as it stands right now, it's tied up 1-1 between the two stars. Akira versus Mizuha, Cammy versus Cody. Battle of the Seas, man. I want to see if the captain is going to prevail. Oh, we got the eye drops too. I see you. I know exactly where you got those from. You got it from your boy, maybe Fudo. I think Fudo's got the. I think Fudo still has like the eye drops on deck, but I'm not going to say it. Either way, we do have Mizuha showing a lot of progress with this Cody, right? I think that's super impressive to note. We've talked about this right before the match started. Him transitioning into Cody has been nothing but a benefit, really, just adding more to your repertoire.
Or that toolkit, especially that I feel like his neutral just feels more confident. There was, I mean, we even watched it last episode where he would hit him with EX Zonk and wouldn't take back his turn. Now he's trying to stay standard with it, but here is the costume switch from Akira. Now we did see this from Akira recently. He would switch to his costume, the Christmas style, and the present would be damaged, and he would present himself with a W. Can he do so right now? Will it be more jump ins? Try to get the win. Try to find the opening, the dash in, already starting off right with the lights and the throw. Ooh, back throw, meaty fireball.
Oh. Talked about slowing down the neutral just a little bit. Oh, that was actually unfortunate! Akira taking unnecessary damage off of the EX Zonk. Just caught a stray, really.
You take activation, he's out of there. Side switch, he's good, all this one to play with. But you can't dash in on a man with a knife. Heavy ruffian, you got one more to take.
Oh. This is going to be one touch away. I think from like a medium strength button coming in from Mizuha. But Akira. Actually, Akira can probably set up for chip damage if need be. It's still terrifying. There it is. Yeah, of medium strength, right?
Kick. Good call right there. Mizuha taking that round and putting himself on set point. Good, really good job. That medium kick kind of harassing the neutral. There's the dive kick come through from Kira. And more jump is trying to get the win. V-skill runs that sucker raw. That wasn't even for an anti-air right there. But again, the aerial approach from Akira puts him in the corner.
Pretty high up there. No anti-air selection there from Mizuha. Did have access to the V-skill one, but still a little bit of a sharp angle, and I love that. Akira, speaking of sharp, this man is still on it. Yes, sir. Keeping his eye on the prize. Keeping the gameplay as sharp as ever. The damage there was pretty high up there. Not gonna lie, I haven't seen Cammy do a lot of damage like that outside of critical art, but there was a stun on the board too. So
He's trying to spend all that bar to put him in the corner, but it's not happening. Here, willing to block it out, find his moment for the spiral arrow, get some assistance with it, but so does the medium ruffian. He's trying to get that corner carry as much as possible too as well. But again, the aerial approach is what has to be how Akira gets that victory. How he's going up in the corner. How's your defense? Real good with the activation.
Does get the counter conversion off of the lights. A throw will do it. Oh, he tried to do what now? He tried to do raw ruffian kick? This guy's amazing.
Trying to catch him lacking a second, but Akira has the bar at the bottom. And try to get that sequence this where he gets enough for that one touch to seal it. But it's one touch on the side of Mizuwa too as well.
And he gets him trying to walk. I don't even know what it was actually. I think he caught the V-shift towards the end. Mizuwa catching Akira slipping a little bit too much speed for you on that one. You gotta slow it down. Officer, or actually Mayor Cody sent the officers for you, but that is quite the way to play. Very impressed by Mizuha. Coming in clutch for his team. Yo, Gyogun getting 20 points thus far. Still trying to continue that hot streak of points.
Keep it going and flowing. That's good stuff right there to stop the flow of Akira that we saw. Just to be able to stop someone that's so aggressive, and even when Akira started putting those jump ins, just being able to stop that man's approach, super sick play from Mizuha, and showcasing how strong his Cody has come. There obviously he was on a losing streak, started finding some W's, and now recently has found a style to not only work well with this character, but also start controlling other players too as well. I think that shows the mastery that he has gained with Cody. Again, Mizuha, stick with the Cody.
So we're hoping to see if Mago can close it out with another 40 ball, right? If Gyogun manages to get it, that would be pretty significant, shooting up into the points right at the halfway mark. Before we get there, a little ahead of myself, take a look at the stats, right? 0-5 in regards to the anti-airs. It's so difficult to get that consistently against Cammy, and we get that, whether it's a traditional button, using standing heavy punch would be probably the bet. Even trying to do like a preemptive like roundhouse ruffian kick, it's pretty tough to do. Even utilizing V-Skill 1, like sometimes you won't get it, sometimes you'll whiff it. It does happen. So either way, I get that stat. But as it stands right now, this is what I was talking about, Seiko. We got 20 points on deck. If Mago, you know, I might as well call him Luke, but if Mago can seal this out with a 40, that's going to be pretty impactful for the leaderboard.
At this point, you gotta send in Daigo. I think Daigo's gonna go in. We're looking for Narukun to come through in the clutch for the team, but I think right now is not the time for the White Helmet to shine. He might have to wait a little bit longer because I don't really like that match. You know, Akira versus Luke, not really feeling that. What I am feeling is Daigo, who has a lot of Luke practice. I've seen him on the CFN practice with his character against these players and do fairly well. I think Daigo's gotta go up, but they're talking about Narukun going up. Shut me the heck up. Okay, Narukun coming up to play. Where the anchor position Vicious. What do you think about this choice?
I don't know. to be genuine with it, I'm not too sure. I mean, we've seen this kind of try to play out before. Well, actually, I've seen this kind of matchup played out before on like a CPT standard, but not thus far. I'd have to double check that, but as it stands right now, I think, you know, Daigo would have been the optimal choice. I mean, Hamiko had picked the same thing. Being able to utilize someone like Guile against Luke has always been like a very big deal. But yeah, I want to know what Mago actually feels about that. He did say, you know, he has covered his options, he has prepped himself, but it is very unexpected. So he's very surprised to even see Akira being taken into consideration for this particular matchup. But it'll have to do. He's gonna have to do as much as he can with this matchup. But it's a very interesting call. That's so strange.
I've seen Akira kind of play some Luke, but I don't think he's gonna go for the mirror match. I think he's like to go for the Akira pick to do it. Again, it's such a strange thing because when it comes to the neutral, I feel like Luke has a clear advantage with the medium punch, being able to punch the character's buttons, the 4 pierces she wants to crush. Even those medium punch buttons are going to get stuffed by the better buttons of Luke overall. He does have some good, you know, or she does have some good elements with her B trigger being better this season. Both B triggers actually being better. Naruku says he's breathing. He couldn't say a word. So I'm wondering if Naruku does have a plan. If they're going to pull up Naruku, they have a plan in place. I'm just curious to see what it's going to be, because if this does not end up well for them, if this ends up in an L, that's 40 points on the board, and they're lower in the leaderboards. They are in second. Reminder that Oja Body Star Milodom is in second place. They do not want to lose that speed right now. So once we get to the midway point, you want to lose that big lead right here. But they're putting all the shoulders of Naruku, who has only an 0-2 right here. Lost to Gucci's Gao and Tokido's Luke. But maybe this is his time to shine. Maybe with all that pressure, you're making a diamond out here.
Really curious to see how that plays out. Again, Naruku not being able to get his W just yet. We saw that stat a little bit earlier. But it's never too late to start now. I mean, just before the halfway mark, it's going to be good. Getting this experience out of the way is going to be good either way. You have to have your entire team ready for that second half, ready for that run back. So we'll see how that plays out. Luke is a very, very good way to start that off. We see it right now being piloted by Mago, who's at a pretty decent record overall. What's kind of funny is we talked about this earlier. Mago in the mirror match hasn't been as successful as we imagined it to be, but we'll see. It's a whole different story. Akira now coming in full force, piloted by Naruku, and of course it's Luke in the hands of Mago, the 2D god.
As that medium target combo gets the Oki and the walk-up throw. Again, being able to get a lot off the buttons is the name of the game for Luke. Being able to convert into a lot of damage or just corner carry an Oki is how he's able to achieve victory. Naruku trying to walk in and get that activation going. Heavy kick with the crush knocks him down. B shift, get away from danger.
Oh. Waking up with a couple of jabs into the target combo. Okay, I see. Watch out for the brother. Yeah, that jump out was so good from Mago. But I think that was not too bad from Akira in terms of the exchange. I mean, at least he got damage on the board. Yeah, it's going to be more than enough damage. Speaking of, yeah. Dun, 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 dun. New challenger has appeared. A Thermobaric Barrage coming in hot. Round 1 going to Mago.
All right, making Naruku drop. That's the first one to Mago. Just, again, simplify those good buttons. And had a good option against that Daigo. It's great to see that people have an option against that character. We've already seen Gucci work against that. But Naruku has to put something different in terms of the mix. Has him in the corner, threatening with that medium punch. Better this season. Outspacing the medium punch for no activation with the EXDP. Letting it fly. It's Mago with that activation too as well. No back throw though, bro.
It's been a while. Naruku actually had the chance for the stun and actually let it go. He actually whiffed the grab instead of continuing the combo while Mago was, I think he was crouching. But either way, the bust out now. Mago continuing to threaten with that low medium kick as he did right now. He's still trying to get within range against Naruku and is probably looking for a trigger activation. Hence we saw the standing medium kick there from Mago. But now Naruku actually finding a lot of success with some of these wake-up buttons, but not too confident. There we go. Now we get the full extension. And I love how he waited just in case. That was actually mad scary. I didn't know if Naruku was going to be able to extend it or not, but I'm glad he did.
Yeah. Aka with the round start EX knuckle, but Naruku with the corner. Gets the counter hit, didn't commit with it. Overhead for a little bit more damage just to clean things up a little bit. You know, find the conversion with the crouching mini kick and the stun. This is close to being done, if not done. What we got? Fireball, DP. Yeah, not enough. Let's win that bar. EXDP, Naruku striking back. Can he find an activation with the 4 Fierce? On block.
Oh. And I love that. I was going to say the screen carry was going to be a good enough deal for Naruku to continue pressure and try to get Oki, but still it wasn't going to be enough. Mago waking up with buttons, catching Naruku off guard. Actually, I don't even think he was... I had to look at that back because I kind of like blinked as he was dashing forward. I don't know if he was like plus in that scenario after that dash, but I will say it was fortunate enough for Mago to even get a button in there and take it down without any big risks, right? Like being able to wake up, this is what's really crazy about Luke. Being able to like wake up with jabs, right? And still continue it with a target combo that could potentially lead to a lot more is pretty good. I don't know, man. Like,
it's pretty nasty. He's a good character for that reason. For a lot of other reasons too as well. You know, with that being a 3-frame too as well. So the back rise and immediately being able to wake up with the light is a good wake up option. And again, just a better button to this character. There's some good sequences that Naruku is putting on the deck. Don't get it twisted. He's got the feature activation of Daigo coming down to support him, but it's not enough to help him get the win in every situation. We see Mago just being able to work around that and not overextend and get hit with it. Now going to V-Trigger 2, see what it do. And V-Skill 2. Naruku.
Oh. A big whiff punish from the side of Naruto, getting the target combo into V-Skill 2. Good amount of damage, already off to a great start, pushing Mago to the corner. That stun, it might be a factor later on, but no, he's letting it dwindle down. The big trade back-to-back roundhouses. How many times has Naruto thrown out some of these heavier normals against Mago? There is the stun. We were looking for that the whole time. I think it's going to be more than enough damage with the V-Skill present. No, not quite. He didn't have bar, that's right. Okay, so if he had EX a little bit earlier, he might have been able to finish it out.
But gets the back though on that dash situation. Mago waiting, and immediately Naruto able to throw him right behind. Naruto with a way better start right there, a lot of pressure. Usually he's like long range normals, but they can be whiff punish. You see that Mago tried to go for the medium just to whiff punish the 4 Fears. Didn't really work out. Crouch kick into the EX, so the quarter carry because it gets scary. Good tech though from Mago. Not trying to get too much damage here. Oh, there's a whiff punish in the medium again. Gets the counter it off that. Okay, we talked about that.
So tough. That's actually super tough. And now it's Mago in command. Does have the life lead. The low forward actually goes without any sort of follow-up, right? No EX flash knuckle, but now it's Narikun taking full advantage of that. Yeah. Hatsunoko Mai, we get the actual pop-up, the damage extension, but now more importantly, you went from one end of the stage to the other. Plus frames after that. He gets another set. No, he actually went for the launcher. Why?
Now you're gonna fly. Mago, that's been the bar for the super. Let's make sure it's gonna kill. Now you gotta chase this character down with V-Trigger. Might be the end of the round. Naruto trying to get that last hit. He's got the bar for the super to steal it, get some rounds back. How's he gonna work around this fireball maze?
Oh, if he takes any more damage? Any more block in? Oh boy. I can't believe he was still within range of low forward. He gets the full confirm. Narikun. Yep, he's feeling it. He's feeling it. He's like, thank you. Thank you, Mago.
Sir.
Thank you for giving me that round.
All right. He said, I appreciate you making this competitive. But honestly, it's Naruto that's making it super competitive. He confirms the pressure with his normals, the confidence in his normals too. I'm starting to see the confidence in him. We didn't see that before in his previous matches. I mean, we saw glimpses of it. We saw flashes of it. But now the confidence really come through in that match, especially swinging out these buttons that can be whip punished, that can be dealt with. And also the V-Trigger change in the Ace Fireball are clipping these limbs of Mago. Mago tries to come out with a medium punch to start the party with the activation or to get the Oki. No go. Not going to happen with that EX Fireball or that crouch community kick. He's at the right distance, and Naruto playing really well right now.
And I do want to mention that as well. I think there's a lot more confidence in his button presses. He's not as intimidated. I think there was, I wouldn't say it was like intimidation. I think it was just more like timidity. We didn't see any sort of normals coming out from Akira in regards to like counter poking. It was more so just movement. That was in game 1. Game 2, he was letting all of the heavies fly. He had his whiff punish initially against Mago. That was a great signal that he was ready to play. Furthermore, after that, he was throwing out a lot of the roundhouse. He's got a couple of trades. He was within the right ranges. I think there's a lot more to be said. Again, Naruto has been focusing on hovering around the crouching medium kick range, and now getting a lot of these punishes. So it's so fun to see this development and adaptation from Naruto this far.
It really is. I mean, he's working Mago to the corner, and Mago, again, we saw how Mago, if he gets stemmed down, like if he loses that momentum, it's one of the big pain points for him, but he might be back in the driver's seat. Gets the DP right after that, gets it meeting too as well with the back fist. Activation, stays on that stuck for a little bit longer, but Mago's not deterred too much. Runs the medium again, target combo situation, back medium punch, didn't get the counter hit. Fortunate, he could have had it with the light flash knuckle. Didn't finish his plate.
Oh boy, and expect Mago to contest with the 3-framer. With that much life left, Naruto is not able to steal any sort of turns. And I love that. Yeah, the big whip punish from Mago. Low medium kick into EX flash knuckle, the staple in the Luke arsenal. You gotta have that if you want to be a Luke player, that is for sure. Does it again. Oh, you're dead.
It's done.
You gotta be dead.
Oh,
yeah.
It's definitely, look at Mago. You're definitely dead. More than dead. Oh, Mago. Back from the brink. And you see how he's deleting that crouch kick off the table? Running his crouch kick too as well. And his buttons are better split too. I feel like he's been kind of swinging that medium punch a little bit too much with a little bit too much swagger, too much confidence with it. Obviously a great button, but that's allowing Naruto to strike back with the EX Fireball and crouch kick like that in the right ranges. But now Mago's playing to the other character. He's playing to the other person instead of just saying, I have loop right now. I'm just utilizing whatever buttons I want. He's actually saying, oh, I got to worry about this button, this character, and now putting himself on game point.
Oh. And we see a lot more close contact from Mago. Forward Fierce does connect against Nariku. Damn, that's a lot of damage off the crush counter. Are you kidding me?
What's that? Oh, what a character. Punish. Sure, minus. Immediately getting that light knuckle right after. He's got some really great -4 punishes. Fantastic for the character. And Nariku right it back with the activation. We've seen him get it back like that. Maybe the return back if you can find that crouch mini kick or crush or even heavy. Mago stopping that from happening with these light buttons and mediums. DP, one more hit will do it.
Oh, and that's going to be more than enough. Yeah, that Sandblaster again, that's where it gets really dangerous. It's going to be like, yeah, with that much life left, Mago's just going to be playing the fireball game. But now, Nariku, okay, very explosive start.
ESRB to put him in the corner immediately. Viciously interrupts that heavy kick again with the fireball. Close range fireball. It's risky because we could see Nariku get a jump in on the recovery, but I like that Mago's using that as a poke. It backs up for the medium too as well. Heavy kick trying to interrupt the fireball. Mago going back to the normals, and again the fireballs interrupting Nariku as he comes in with these longer buttons. I like this play from Mago. Whip punish. That's the biggest one.
Yeah, we've seen Mago pretty much be aware of that. Okay, yo, Nariku not spinning the bar off of the low medium kick, but Mago is going to be doing so off of his low medium kick. Forward throw now, watch out for the trigger activation. Oh, that's exactly what he wants you to think. Back-to-back throws, a big interruption, but no, nothing from Nariku. That's going to be more than enough. Mago still able to stop Nariku from pressing a button. Back to that intimidation factor. Actually caught a counter hit. A little bit too much reluctancy from the side of Nariku. That's going to be a big 40-point game for Team Gyogun. Every other week, or actually 2 weeks ago, they scored 40 points. The week prior, they got 20 back in the game. Dude, this has been an exponential increase, exponential progress we're seeing from the side of Gyogun. Kind of reminiscent of like how they played in the previous season of Street Fighter League last year.
That's true. I mean, seeing them take the second place team, Oja Miladon Body Star, who had been so close to that top 8 against Good 8 squad in that top spot. So close to doing so. Relied upon Nariku, but Mago stopping them and getting a 40 baller out here is real ridiculous, and Mago able to seal it. And I feel like Mago also evolving himself. We talked about Nariku evolving, which he did in that match, but I think that Mago is getting that swagger back in his style, you know what I'm saying, where if he does lose some rounds where he doesn't feel as confident, he's able to run it back with the quickness. And that's something that we were lacking with Mago a little bit previously. Now we see Mago real confident with those buttons, chasing things up and recognizing I have to find whip punishes to crouch mini kick. I have to whip punish this character's buttons and things like that, and be more aware and go for risky things like fireball. Honestly, close range fireball is very risky. Nariku could have found a jump in, corner carry into some bad news, but it's all good news right here for Gyogun as they get it done. 40 points on the board for this team. Mago just ear to ear, looking like the Grinch. That's Christmas.
I gotta say, this is not only is this gonna be like disrupting the boards, or at least like the potential for what's to come towards playoffs. But what's super important is that Nagoya Oja Body Star being shut down of any sort of points is a pretty big deal to get themselves ready for the second half of the season. Right, we were looking at how many points they had scored in the week prior. Nagoya Oja Body Star had a very impressive week 6 day 2 where they had 40 points. But even like the week prior, it was a little rough. But as it stands right now, being able to take down one of the big 3 in the leaderboard is significant, and also propel yourself within that spot as well. I think this is going to be a huge stepping stone for a team like Gyogun.
Being able to tie out with Shinobiism Gaming, with the 40 points right there. Actually surpass Shinobiism Gaming. Their extra 40 points because we get 165. The fact of the matter is, though, is that it showcases, like, it's so hard to tell who's going to take these victories, who's going to take it in the end of any of these teams. I think if I looked at this team previously, and I was thinking, like, I think this is going to be Nagoya Oja's Body Star's victory. This is a strong team. I talked about it before. I was like, man, you got Fudo, you got Daigo, even Nariku, you know, if he can get on his game, he's going to be a threat too as well. And Akira's been, you know, murdering on the Lukes. But we come into a 40 ball all the way Gyogun, showing how to get it done, in the rise of all these players on their side of things. Mizuha especially, I really like to focus on Mizuha and Machibo, because Machibo, going back to his character, Mizuha finding his character, have been able to help out the team, and Mago himself is getting a lot more solidified than how he was maybe previously in some of the games. I mean, he still has a really impressive record overall. Right now he's 5-3, but there were some matches that he lost 3 in, and so I feel like he's really found himself up in this league right here. This team is a threat. All these teams are a threat out here at Street Fighter League Japan.
I'm glad you mentioned that too. I think the 2 highlights of this set were truly Mizuha navigating around Akira in the way he wanted to play despite falling short in the first game. But Machibo, more importantly, I think if there was an MVP pick, I think Machibo going with Lucia was the biggest consideration you could have possibly had with the team. In fact, Machibo actually had a little bit of a discussion during his matchup. In his very interview, he actually said, I had no choice but to use the Kali, then decided if I lost, I would love to ask my team whether or not I could use Lucia. The team actually said yes, so I'm glad that they were very open about that discussion. I'm glad that they were having that much faith within their teammate like Machibo. That was truly a pick that I never saw coming. Like, nobody in their right mind would have been like, oh yeah, Machibo's easily going to just counter pick with Lucia. Like, we've seen it happen with Kawano. Nobody in the world would have been like, oh yeah, we saw that coming. Mizuha also had his bit of the interview as Mago wipes the drool off his face. I don't know, he was laughing too hard on that one. Mizuha getting a significant win against Akira was pretty good as well. He had said he practiced as much as he could, so he's very happy that he led his team to a W. And Moke didn't actually get to play, but he was the reserve, but he was pretty ecstatic about the 40 points. What was it about Mago that led him to that big drooling point, Seikola? What did he say in that winning interview?
My man is drooling over the 40 points as he said, 40 points? The Goya Oja is a strong team and great players. But hey, 40 points, says Mago. Oh man, he's just elated over his victory, elated over the fact that, again, he's taking over Norakun, who again has yet to shine. Norakun's the only one in this league so far that has not gotten a victory just yet. Mizuha was like that previously, but won in the Anchor match, and now won in this match. But now Norakun has yet to shine. He has yet to get that W. We're waiting for the win of the White Omen to get in. I feel like we haven't seen that, but he's fought a lot of tough opponents, and he's starting to get, we still see those glimpses, we see those flashes, but it's not enough. We'll have to see what he has for a game plan later on as we get to the midway point. But again, shout outs to Oja Body Star, just doing the most out here and getting 40 on a team with Daigo, Udo, with the Kira, the new young gun, and Norakun has been an up-and-comer. Amazing play today from this team.
Yeah, so Gyogun actually getting the 40 points is pretty important, right? I think, Machibo, Mizuha, and Mago getting all of that against Nagoya Oja Body Star. Did they turn the tables already? I was going to say, like, we already had the run back happen, but...
My bad. I mean, Alternate Universe.
Yeah, alternate timeline. You know what's funny? It's not... I feel like it's not even going to be, like, that big of an alternate timeline, because you mentioned it earlier, like, what's crazy about it is, like, every single player is a threat. That's just how it is. Like, there's not going to be any sort of outliers where it's like, oh yeah, well, I think he had the advantage because XYZ, or this player wasn't as, like, up to snuff. That's not going to be the case here. I think this is going to be, like, top tier talent through and through. You may have a couple of outliers that are, like, new, I guess, to Street Fighter League per se, but definitely not new in regards to, like, the competition. Right? We've seen what they can do on CFN. We've seen what their record is like on a Capcom Pro Tour, or even like a World Warrior event. So we've had those kind of accolades listed in the very early parts of the season. So these guys are all about being top tier talent. Right? So we're gonna see how this plays out little by little. Right, this is the halfway point now. Some of these teams really need to get adjusted. Those that have already played, I'm pretty sure every team thus far has had their fair share of their away matches. They had to take full advantage of that and get as many points as possible. Now they really need to utilize being in the home field, or having the home field advantage, right? Gyogun being one of those teams, right? Having a 40-point ball game against the Goya Oja Body Star as the away team is pretty unprecedented, right? That's something that's like, all right, well, like, statistically, I'm thinking to myself, if I'm on the home team, I should be able to get the counter pick, right? It didn't come through. It didn't find the amount of success most people would imagine.
And that's really important thing to point out. You know, being on the away side, you have that disadvantage, and that means that your strategy is going to have to be a little more intricate because you have to put these characters. And obviously, we saw in the first two, we see the switch from Machibo, but that's even difficult too. Like, you're switching to another character, you don't have as much time to liberate in the non-anchor matches, so that was a big risk right there. But there was reward in store. They had a game plan to have Lucia pick, to threaten, to make Fudo go through another nightmare of the Lucia. But again, overall, Gyogun switching it up. 40 points. I cannot get over the fact that we see 40 points on against a team with Fudo and Daigo and Noriku on the deck. Like, but again, as you said, all top tier talent out here, all of them playing their hearts out to get points from the other people. I mean, there's CPT that's going to be happening this weekend, so it also makes sense that they're going to be playing at their fullest and they're going to be studying all their opponents and things like that, even outside of Street Fighter League Japan. But as it stands, as you put it, man, Gyogun is cooking right now. Good Squad still in the top spot. Nagoya Oja Body Star might be going down a bit later on. We do have more matches. Let's review these matches right here, though. This was great. Started off good for Fudo, as the poison pick was keeping the Kali out. There were some good jumpers and situations. I felt like, even though Machibo was losing, it wasn't that drastic. And then the surprise Lucia pick, the comeback, and using something different than Kawano, using more of the zoning, more of the risky sweeps off the feet. Interruptions right here from Fudo showed that he did know the match. He did save the match, but it wasn't enough because I feel like the aggression that Machibo put on was hard for Fudo to stop. Difficult. Is the activation off that low? Corner carry right into the super, spins the bar, and immediately cash out. Having these secret picks that other people aren't expecting, not even the commentators like us or the players are expecting, are able to help lead to victory. How far would you go to get that W was talked about previously, and we're seeing it out here. People will go the distance to find a character just to fight someone like Fudo or a character like Poison, and I love that about Street Fighter League Japan.
And I love the back and forth between these two, Fudo and Machibo, but it was a little bit too late. Yeah, the risky DP. Well, I say it's risky just because it's Fudo, but with the amount of life that that Machibo had left, it was going to be just fine. But speaking of Mizuha, we do have that transition over against Akira. That was, I gotta say, like, looking at Mizuha's adaptation with the way Akira has been playing was pretty sturdy, pretty solid, right? We saw a little bit of an error from the side of Akira not getting what he initially wanted to do, but it was looking like it was going to be lights out. But this is where we saw that big transition, right? And picking apart Akira's offense and showing off some of the counterplay capabilities as he has, like throwing in standing medium punch to occupy some of those normals, throwing in a couple of standing light kicks as well to throw off Akira, and then eventually throwing out the standing medium kicks, which just has a little bit more range to throw him off even further, was so important, right? Again, stealing some of those turns, yeah, using EX Zong Knuckle, forcing those guessing scenarios was so important.
Also, what's really important right here is how Mongo played against the V-Trigger situation that we saw even when the round started, or when the first matches happened against Narikun, denying a lot of that damage and applying a lot of his own, a lot of good confidence. There was some good confidence from Narikun's side, being able to get aggressive with the buttons and the forward fierce, the mediums and things like that, the heavy kick especially, which forced Mongo to outplay him, get these whip punches against the crutch kick situations, against the heavy kick situations, where he had to really respect the distance, because it was looking like Naruku was starting to make the comeback. You see him hopping up in his chair, super happy they got that confirmed in the walk-in situation from Mongo. But then Mongo started playing a little bit more patient, a little bit more calculated, and started landing all those hit confirms that you need to have with Luke. Luke can do the damage, but he has to get those hits to do it. And being able to just counter jab, forward fierce too as well, those ranges that Akira would like to occupy, denied it with the forward fierce, gets the crush and that corner carry, and these close range fireballs too as well that he'll be punished if that missed space, but he backs off just enough so it didn't happen.
I didn't notice that Mongo had actually gone through with like this weird sequence right here. I think he did like a back medium punch and then got a crush counter off of that. But we saw like the game ended. But yeah, there was a couple of moments where I saw Mongo get away with something where he wasn't allowed to. Like back medium punch and he got a counter hit standing heavy punch. I think Akira got caught off guard by that. I got caught off guard by that as well. I had to make sure that it got caught on the replay. It's so funny that the replay operator actually caught that moment specifically, because I was thinking to myself, I'm like, did Narikun press a button where he shouldn't have there? It was so wild, but I'm glad that at least that got highlighted. Anyways, let's talk about what's to come a little bit after a couple of these slides, right? Man, I'm low-key kind of debating getting this Street Fighter 6 skin for my debit card. I'm not gonna lie, that's actually pretty cool. Have you ever? I don't know. I feel like I'd be a real big nerd to do that, but I'm also like not afraid to do it either.
There you go. Show your power level. Show your power level. That looks super sick with it. I definitely would do so too if I could. But yeah, y'all can definitely pick those up. I mean, with the new skins and things like that, so no time better to show off that you are a Street Fighter fan with 6 on the way. So even if it does have Blanca, still okay. But what's also his case, Good 8 Squads are still in the top spot, still leaving with 215 points. They're not going to be showing up today. Going up later on in the seasons and things like that. We'll see if they can be surpassed by the other players and the other teams, because it's looking like, honestly, things could go either way when these matchups happen. Like, nobody is indefeatable.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing how this is going to play out, right? We're still at the halfway point. I want to know if we're actually at the halfway point for the release of Street Fighter 6. I would love to know if we can get a little bit more information. Please, a crumb, if you will. But yeah, not even guys like me get to even get that information. That's locked in the vault forever and ever, amen. But yeah, we've seen a lot of players go through it with the beta. It's been a lot of fun thus far. But also what's been really fun is Capcom Japan really reaching out to the community as well. We see it even so on social media, right? Capcom_esports has teamed up with so many different people to do some of these giveaways and even show support from all the tweets that you guys have been tweeting out there from both the US side and the Japan side. In fact, if you guys have any more love and support, or actually want to get your fun facts out, be sure to hit us up at _Sincola or at ViciousFTC. We do have another big World Warrior event coming in not too long from now, actually. It's going to be tomorrow, I think, 6 p.m. start for Japan, at least. It's not going to be PST, but it's going to be for Japan. It's going to be very exciting to see it. We're going to see who takes down World Warrior Japan #3. But thus far, we've seen a lot of big matches with Gyogun against Nagoya Ojo Bodystar, a big 40-point blowout, which is been pretty surprising nonetheless. Again, Nagoya being within the top 3 spots, one of the biggest dogs out here for Street Fighter League, getting shut down with 0 points. It leads us to our second match, going to be coming up a little bit after this break. Don't go anywhere. When we come back with Street Fighter League, it'll be Camouflage Detonation versus Shinobiism Gaming right after this break.
番組の中でもご紹介させていただきますので、どしどしお待ちしております。そして YouTube、Twitch の各チャンネル登録、Twitter のフォローも合わせてよろしくお願いいたします。さあ、この後は試合準備のため休憩に入らせていただきますが、こちら再開は21時25分頃から第7節 Day1 マッチ2コミュファデトネーション対シノビズムゲーミングの模様をお届けしてまいります。それでは一旦失礼いたします。
ご安全にな。
お、新入りかな。うん、いい顔に撮れてるじゃないか。改めて担当教官のルークだ。よろしくな。
始めるとしよう。勝負だ。投票入りでごわす。手加減は期待しないでくれ。よくくれ。おい、ちょうだけじゃ。
さあここからは松津の模様をお届けしてまいります。
Back into it, it's going to be matchup number 2. It's Camouflage Detonation going up against Shinobiism Gaming. Shinobiism Gaming has been doing a ton of work these last couple of weeks. They've actually had, or I guess a couple of days I should say, they've had themselves 80 points in a matter of 2 whole sets. That is unprecedented, especially with the way that they've been putting the away side. And still, on the away side, it's Shinobiism Gaming, of course, led by the Prime Ninja, that is Momochi. Coming in and representing that Cody, followed by the master of lethal, Fujimura. Absolutely is the grave maker, especially with the way he's been piloting this Luke. That is Shinobi's trump card, Yamaguchi, coming in with another Luke, and of course, just in case we need it, We have the Swanky Ninja coming in with G. I think thus far, as it stands right now, on the away side, Shinobiism Gaming has been doing the most with that given disadvantage, right? I gotta say, they've been dominating thus far, both in Week 5 and Week 6. Actually, in Week 6, they were the home team, just like Camouflage Detonation coming in. The meal ticket, I love the expression on his face. It is none other than, you already know, Itabashi. And then Nauman following up on the side of the Brave, representing that Luke and Cody. The babyface trickster, John Takeuchi, representing that Cody, Rishi if need be. And the player we've been seeing a lot more of lately, it's the Ace's return, Urio, with that Rose. I'd like to welcome in St. Cola back into the fray as well, talking about this next matchup coming up.
You know, speaking of this match, I actually went to Aqua Stream recently. Like right before the start, and I said, I'd love to see Urio. That dude is so cool. He's one of my favorite players. This is how wild he is, not wild when it comes to that Rose play. And he said, I think he might come up on the deck against the Luke players. And I'm like, you're going to put him up against the Luke players? Well, that might be a good idea if the character does work out, because there's a lot of Lukes on the side of Shinobiism Gaming, as you see Yamaguchi up on the deck with Fujimura, and then Momoshi with the Cody. We've seen that roster selection come through quite a bit continuously, and it's led him to victory. But I am excited to see what happens with Urio, where he is placed up against the Luke players, if that does happen. If Aqua is correct, the fellow Rose player, just believing that that might be the case. We'll see who they send up.
No, I think you have a very valid point too with Rose being able to fight off against Luke as well. I've had this discussion with both Fakito and Filipino Man. They both think that Rose does have the toolkit to stop somebody like Luke. It's just a matter of which Luke you want to throw up against, right? That's going to be so tough to manage. But even Hamako had imagined that he predicted that Urio should be the one to go up against Fujimura, against Fujimura's Luke specifically, right? And in terms of Yamaguchi, who is going to be placed second, I think John Takeuchi is the one to come up second against that particular matchup with the Cody. As for who takes down the prime Shinobi's Cody down below in the anchor match, well, that's going to be up to Camouflage Detonation to make that proper call between those two. So we'll see as it stands right now. Urio is the pick, exactly what you had mentioned, St. Cola. Very interested to see what the V skill, or actually, I'm interested to see what the V set is from the Rose player.
Yeah. Just see what he's going to select to. Is it going to be satellites? Because I feel like satellites would be really good if he can find the setup situation, but that's hard because full screen, Luke can stay me. He's got the fireballs from downtown to stop that from happening. But the other V skill that could be good with the cards, the tarot cards as well, could be good to utilize a lot more of that V bar. Obviously, powers are up, but I think the benefit of having the ability to stock up with the V bar continuously with that option a little bit quicker than maybe the satellites, you have to get the hits, might be a good thing. Someone like aggressive as Urio might be able to kind of make use of those power-ups for the character. I like this pick overall in terms of fighting someone like Fujimura, because you're trying to rumble the jungle with someone like Fujimura, who's a little bit more aggressive than Yamaguchi, who's more on the defensive side. I think it's a good pick to fight or have someone that's going to go up with the same sort of style, the same sort of momentum mentality when it comes to playing Street Fighter 5.
Yeah, so I'm just curious to see what this matchup is going to play out like as well. I think, you know, having that mentality is super important. I think that's something that Urio needs to get well acquainted with. We've seen him pop off a good amount. We've seen how much emotion is driven behind each and every one of his actions in each and every one of these games. But as it stands right now, he doesn't have a bad record at all, right? I think winning 2 out of the 3 matches that he's gone up against was pretty important. Him starting to get, even in the sudden death match, I think a first-to-one Urio, it could be super dangerous. But this is exactly what you need to test out going forward, right? Although Camouflage Detonation may be, you know, a little bit on the lower end, right, with 90 points, currently in 6th place, I still think getting Urio warmed up, or at least ready for the retribution in the second half of the season is super important, especially with all the Lukes that are coming out of the woodwork, right? Speaking of Lukes, we have Fujimura, who's been 2 out of 5, right? It comes to that prime example we had mentioned earlier, right? Not every top player is able to navigate with Luke successfully, and we see it from his stats right now.
Check those stats right there. 3 losses, 2 wins. You know, losing to Gachiku was with the Rashid, the anchor match. Then lost to Gucci's Guile, lost to Moke's Falk, but then won against Daigo's Guile in Gunfight's Oro. So he's got a few victories underneath his belt, but just more losses though. But I do feel like that Fujimura's style when it comes to his character, like he's very optimal. He does find some great situations that we haven't seen with other Luke players. He knows how to optimize and just push out as much damage as possible. It's landing those hits and staying solid up in the neutral is where he, I feel like, falters. I mean, really for his game plan throughout the entirety of Street Fighter 5, he's always been predicated on what is the best thing about this character. We saw that with the Buki, the V-trigger mix-up. He saw that with Chun-Li when he was playing her recently before this season, being able to stay optimal, find the most damage out of that character too as well. It's just getting a hold of neutral the character has been what he's got to work with, and Orio's not going to make that easy. I mean, we see how aggressive Orio is, going for sweeps and things like that. I'm going to say randomly, but just to put people off about that could be a crush counter into setup for Orb or whatever we might see for the V-skill. We'll also see what they have on the deck. Both sides, Oreo versus Fujimura.
So we see V-Set 2 coming in from Rose. V-Trigger and V-Skill 2 is going to be the choice for Udio. We're going to see that come into play. I would have loved to see maybe like a V-Trigger 1 come out if he ends up faltering this first game against Fujimura, but we'll see how this plays out. 1-1, V-Set 1 from Fujimura. Here we go, game number 1. Udio already testing the waters out with low medium kick. Pretty much his opening gambit just in case Fujimura wants to get antsy. I love that standing heavy punch to whip punish against the mediums that Luke presents. And I love this aggression from Udio, a big man. This is a big start for him. Oh, that was a reset? I don't know. Ridiculous. I think there was a slight delay.
Ooh.
Yeah,
so you see the counter right there. That might have been Urio.
Yeah, so Udio had intentionally, I think he dropped it to kind of catch maybe like a button from Fujimura, but it actually caught the movement option anyway, so Udio still getting the frame trap nonetheless. And I love this aggression yet again. He was too far. He was actually deliberating getting the uppercut, but still not enough. Fujimura does get the side switch.
Sun's rising. Now he's going to find a way out of the court with the crouch kick, catching the walk back, and just like that, you see them custom combos, Alpha 2 style. Fly, what else we got in the deck? EXCP waits and baits, and the bar up on him means we're going to get a super, yes sir, to seal the deal with the quickness. And you see him already popping off? He's fading in and out of the background with Fujimura down. And just look at how strong someone is with their character when they rock with it. Rocking with this character for, obviously, you know, the soccer pick wasn't doing it for him. Stuck with the Rose. And you see Fujimura looking very lost right now. No emotion on this man's face. There's really an emotion on his face in general, but even more so than I think the usual.
Yeah, I would love to know what the rebuttal is. Or not the, yeah, I would love to see what the rebuttal is in-game, but I would also love to hear the chatter within the teammates as well. But as it stands right now, Udio finding his ground pretty confidently at that. 2 rounds straight. That's a big crush counter, big back roundhouse coming in from the side of Fujimura, catching a straight button. But Udio now completely unfazed by it.
It's in the gap, you've seen that. Threading the need a little bit. Right on the satellite. This whole explosion, I should say. Slide and play counter hit. Backs with the fireball. Don't play so hard for Fujimura to try to get through. Nice DP at that range. Mr. Optimal.
I was gonna say, you're gonna give Machabo's nickname to someone else? Come on, man. The disrespect.
I might have to. I don't know.
I mean, he's got to get the W first, right? And that's not going to be the case. Yeah. Udio, again, taking advantage of that against Fujimura. Dash up, crouching short. Now what's going to be the opening gambit now? Udio still pretty aggressive. Dashing up. Low, medium, coming in from Fujimura. Check Udio's advances. And I love that. I was waiting to see when he was going to utilize the jump EX Fireball. Soul Spark against someone like Fujimura, who's always kind of looking attentive to the air, trying to get like some of these uppercuts going. I love that call. Udio taking up that space with EX Soul Punishment.
Great with his medium. We're trying to get in with that back heavy kick situation. Gets a sweep. We talked about this. It was set up shop. About to make this man drop. He had the backdash. Right there with the crouch kick and the fireball. And look at this zoning play right here. I'm going to cut through. You do have the EX Fireball. No whip punish on the Soul Arrow. Fujimura, can he find an activation and drop things back, but there's a back throw. He's like turning up. That bar at the bottom. Yo, wants that one hit to do with the CA. To see him out.
He tried to get a Soul Spiral. Soul Spiral again! He actually thought he had to confirm, but no, sir. Soul Spiral is not going to be the savior for today. Well, at least not yet. Fujimura, he's going to have to block a lot after this. Soul Punishment, watch out for the mix. Not a single button press from Fujimura. The discipline and defense. It's shining through.
Give the diligence to activation. Gonna super right through. Oh, and it hits. I have to do it though. He's in the lead. You get back up. He's at that V trigger to play. Real lane with it. Run. Falls the fireball. On him jumping. And Fujimura still in the game.
But at what cost? That was extremely expensive, right? Going into the next matchup. But I don't think he's gonna care too much about that. He might have to though. Udio having a pretty solid start thus far.
And now that EX more to threaten in the projectile game. It's the chaser. The walk up throw, stuns rising. The defense looking like the block. The walk back, crouch me, kick, fade away. Oh my god. We're going for this combo. Fear, slide, reset applied. Oh, the side switch, the defense would hold this throw, bro. One more touch, EX.
Oh my god.
Trying to catch him lacking with a throw bait.
So close.
He's one
so
touch.
close, just one touch away. I can't tell what's gonna happen. I can't
Devil's
tell you
ear.
what's gonna happen.
Spoil me, please. I want to know. Too anxious right now. Fujimura can make the comeback.
He still
the
can.
buttons in front of this man's face.
Potentially. He needs 2 touches, right? Activation, he's just going into it. Does get the thermal
And then
parry.
rock again.
Another one. Oh, it's so close. One medium actually, and it's gonna be for Udio instead. Udio actually lands a low medium kick, catching Fujimura, walking where he shouldn't, and that's gonna be the first big W for Como Fun Detonation. 2-0 from the side of Udio. Super impressive. What's so terrifying about that is Fujimura was within kill range. He was definitely, and I don't mean within the spacing. I mean, he was literally 1 touch away as well. That was terrifying. That was actually terrifying.
But do you see the confidence of Uriel to just like, I don't want to say not care, but still play his game plan, just still have that confidence, let that land. For him to be in that distance and knowing it could happen, knowing that it could be the return of Fujimura and give us another game, man, that confidence. Yo, shout out to Aqua for calling this right, to have this Rose play, and as you pointed out too, as the other Rose players, feeling pretty confident in this match. I feel like there were a lacking amount of punishes on some sides of Fujimura, but overall, Uriel just outplayed Fujimura just drastically. At setup shot, continuously putting these block strings, gets the knockdown with the sweep off the feet, and winning for the Soul Explosion right above him. Man, that was fantastic gameplay and a game plan of keeping aggressive. And I think it really worked out to put him against this Luke King.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to be said in regards to like the aggression, the aggressive kind of play style that Udio presented against someone like Fujimura. He just wasn't ready to like cover all options, at least on the ground game. I think Udio's ground game was phenomenal, right? Having to force those kind of issues pretty early in regards to like what's coming out, like maybe like a Fierce is going to be coming out, whether he's going to be like throwing in some of the roundhouses or even dashing up. I think Udio did a great job of masking his opening gambits for one thing, and then also following up with a couple of the normals that he was showing off immediately afterwards. So super impressive all across the board. And speaking of across the board, as much as we love seeing the 100% stats, sometimes it doesn't lead to as much success as we think. For the side of Fujimura's case, that's true. But again, Udio coming in hot and heavy with 10 points. A lot of confidence, and we love to see that going forward for the next half.
That's right. See who's going to set up against the next Luke pick. As you had prefaced before, what Hamako had said, John Takuchi might go up, you know, having the Cody. We've seen Cody work very well against Luke, and with John Takuchi's record, when it comes to CPTs, he's done well against Luke. He beat Otani in his first one, but never mind. It's going to be the captain. Itabashi Zane keep going up against wow, really? It's a Luke pick, okay. Let's see what he got to play. I'm very surprised.
I'm kind of surprised as well. I mean, I want to know if that's going to be like something that they're going to regret later, but I think Yamaguchi's talking about the potential Abigail pick. I do like that, actually. He's already prepared for it. He's already talking about how he's been prepared for it. I love that. Is it gonna actually be Abigail
It's
though?
good to see,
Is
especially
that confirmed?
はい、若手に対し
I think it
て
is.
重くの
It
し
is
かかる
confirmed we're gonna see
ポジ
some
の
Abigail.
姿見せたい
Wow,
と思いま
that
す。
is so strange because I feel like Abigail gets definitely dusted with this matchup, but again, there must be a game plan for Itabashi to come through in the clutch to defeat this character, defeat this player. Yamaguchi said he's going to take revenge, and Itabashi just simply says, I will handle this. Oh, you definitely have a game plan. Just saying, I will handle this with the Abigail pin. That ain't Itabashi saying, give that Itabashi Abigail.
I'm curious to see it myself. I'm not too fond of the matchup, to be honest with you. But we'll see how this plays out. This is something that's been on a lot of players' mind actually in regards to who certain players would pick, at least for Street Fighter League, who certain players would pick going forward into some of these matchups against Luke specifically. But I want to know what exactly it is about Itabashi for him to pick this matchup in particular. 3 out of 5 in regards to his current win rate. Not too bad at all, considering we're only in week 7. He didn't really play in week 5 or 6, took a little bit of a break, but this is the break he needed, right? I think him going back and forth between characters has been kind of tough. He doesn't have Zangief at the ready as often anymore, unfortunately, but we'll see how it plays out with Abigail.
That's right. Yamaguchi looking really great. 4-2 in terms of wins and losses. Lost to Dogra's first to 2. Won against Shudo Urian and Mongo Luke, but then lost to Akira's Kami, but then won against Crush with Birdie, and then beat Bonchan Sagat. Very, very strong match that he had against Bonchan Sagat. Being able to out-fireball the king. Stay clean. So Yamaguchi, one of the more defensive sort of Luke players. And people maybe don't get to see those nuances when it comes to the character in terms of how people play, but there's definitely differences when it comes to Luke players. We've seen Tokido loves to just poke away this sort of play, and then work people up in the corner. Yamaguchi's the sort of style that where he likes to put in 8 defense. We saw him kind of stand block the fierce and find a whip punish. Those minute differences in terms of defense have what led him to victory and stay stable and get a lot of wins for his team. He's a big breadwinner. Let's see if he's got that same sort of defense against the big grappler, I should say brawler, that is Abigail, because he's definitely more of a brawler, especially nowadays since his command grab does come out, the command grabs do come out, but there's such short distance that you're really relying upon your normals, and your anti-airs are going to be more predictive too. So the jump is might be coming hot and heavy from Yamaguchi, because as Abigail, you have to predict with it. Crouch fierce, forward fierce, slower, light punch gets stuff, so you have to be thinking about where you place those anti-airs. We'll see how this operates. I'm curious because on paper it doesn't look good, but Itabashi's makes some pretty nasty runs against characters that he shouldn't.
It's true. That's a pretty important factor. I think there's a lot to be said in regards to Itabashi's instinctive play. I think he's got a lot of very solid reads against certain players' playstyle because he's been in the game for a very long time, right? He's a legacy player. He's been around the block for years and years and years, and has played Zangief majority of that time, right? Now that I think about it, as we were going on, there's only one character that has 360s in Street Fighter 5, and that's Zangief. There's no other character, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. In the roster, there's no other character that has a 360 command. Am I tripping about that?
No, you're right. I'm pretty sure you're right. Nobody else has that command.
Give Zangief. People are gonna prosecute me for this one, that's for sure. They're gonna put me on trial and on stand for this one. But give Zangief
Don't say it.
half circles, okay? Let's get rid of the 360s all together. All right, hear me out. Get rid of the 360s. All right. Make Zangief able to play, okay? I'm just saying. Let it happen. I like seeing my man rock, okay? I like seeing my man rock. Come on now.
I'm from the camp of Nemo where I don't like seeing that character rock. I already saw Brutus take a CPT or Warrior event. I don't need to see any more Geef. We're going to see him in Abigail over the deck. And again, I mean, he could come up with that character. He could come up with Geef and things get too hairy. They do get kind of scary. He could find a way. But right now, it's Abigail play. Driving into Yamaguchi.
See how this works out. The exact matchup I wanted to see in regards to Itazan coming back for his games. And look at how aggressive he is already. Yes, sir. Yep. Finding the crouching medium punch. And this is a pretty big deal, right? As much as we kind of pit the two archetypes together, Abigail isn't like your traditional grappler. Or actually grappler, but he definitely is a scrappy kind of brawler where he is going to be throwing out a lot of these normals, because look at how much range. He outranges Luke technically in regards to the normal department. It's just a matter of the fireball. But if you can get rid of that threat, if you can get rid of the fireball threat, look at how big chilling Itazan ends up being in his matchup.
In the corner, not where you want to be. Crouch medium punch, light punch have been interrupting some of those fireballs before they even come through. DP, though, gets a knockdown, stocks up with a B skill. I like that from Yamaguchi, taking that chance just to stock up the B skill for some damage and possible more corner carry. Trying to find a jump in too far out, but Itazan looking primed to take this round. He's got the bar at the bottom. Take him down. He needs like one good EX combo off a crush. Might be able to kill him. Can he find it?
He just needs to find it. That's the biggest thing. But I feel like it might be a little too late right now. Yamaguchi only has a couple more seconds on the block. All right, well, this is a great start. 18 seconds plus frames. Gets to throw again. He can't take too much of that. That was going to be a throw range.
Trying to take a hit.
To kill? No, he's chilling.
Look at him running.
That is so smart.
Ooh. Back away. Just back away. You have 8 seconds on the clock. You have one of the best features in the business for the closer. And Yamaguchi with that defense. We saw a defensive play, just walking him down, almost patient play too as well. I want to put on too far up for the Abigail punch. That would have worked seasons ago, but not this one. DP to get it done. Back medium punch for the plus frames. Harass this character in the corner. Not that much defense on the side for Abigail. Some offense though. Oki.
Did you get Oki off of this? Get the dash up forward. What happens now? Yamaguchi still just fine, by the way. Yeah, still keeping the fundamentals alive. The anti-air still present. Does have V-trigger on deck, so he can let it rock if he gets a big confirm. But speaking of big confirms, now it's Inabashi's turn. Enough. V-trigger 2, not quite dead yet. Yamaguchi can actually make this comeback happen.
Good. 2 good sequences. 2 good blocks of a great life. Could be good night. Finds it, hit the super. Yamaguchi with a stock up. So risky, but gets it done. With a medium punch, stuffs him before he can come in. Still, Yamaguchi with a lot of hard work with this next round, but Itazan, I feel like it's a tale of tapes in terms of like, whoever gets a better round start is better off. Yamaguchi has to shore up in terms of that corner pressure too as well. He's supposed to be able to get out.
I will say, I mean, Yamaguchi actually was falling a little bit short even in that first round, right? I think he was playing catch-up majority of the time. He was kind of doing so again in round 2, and Itazan was actually able to close it out. Yamaguchi, again, had to carry some of that meter over because he didn't find those openings that he was looking for as he did in round number 1. Itazan, a lot more activity from some of the... How does he know, man? Like, he's covering all these options within range so well.
We talked about predicted too. You have to, you know, swing it out right when you think it's coming through. Jump fierce with that distance. The tree truck limbs. No grip. The back throw from Yamaguchi. Get EX. Can he route it back? We're talking about how he has to work hard, but it's one touch of the super from Itazan. He's looking for that one hit to do it. He'll hunt for it. He'll wait for it. He's a patient boy. That's a grappler lifestyle.
Oh,
and there it is off the light. Check the weather.
Bag.
How's the weather up there?
Ugh. I love that. Yeah, Itazan. You can see how ecstatic he is. This is the kind of emotion we love to see from Itazan. This is the kind of emotional play that we love seeing from this particular team. And I love the pop-offs. Yeah, Inabashi finding his momentum, finding his confidence as much as he can. Off to a great start. Combo Fund Detonation already putting W's up on the board. That is technically 3 W's straight for the team. Audio got 2 in a row. Inabashi continuing the streak.
Could do so. I like this game plan. Lights to interrupt the fireballs. That could have been a big pain point. Jump fierce as well. And the exchange is going to be a lot more in the favor of Abigail. The damage that he can dish out is going to be a lot more off most of these sequences if you're just slinging out fireballs. And the normals too have been interrupted. The confidence you see from Abigail, I'm sorry, Inabashi has been a lot more. Yamaguchi's more defensive style, and his catch-up style is not really working out against someone like Inabashi, who just puts up a wall of normals. Stuffing him, stopping him from coming in. You gotta work with that activation, you gotta work with that V-trigger situation as the rounds go down. And Inabashi, if he's smiling, you are definitely frowning.
We'll see how that plays out in game number 2. Inabashi already off to a pretty strong start. A little bit of a handshake, I will say, in regards to like how he wanted to play out game, or at least round number 1 against Yamaguchi. But he's already taken note that, you know, Yamaguchi's playing a little bit more passive. He hasn't been throwing as many sand blasters. I'd expect it to be like maybe like 100 sand blasters per round, because that's going to be a pretty big deterrent for Abigail. But Itabashi being aggressive at the start, it doesn't give Yamaguchi a chance to even let those sand blasters fly, right? Again, big back-to-back counter hits, big counter pokes, I should say, from Itazan, whether it's crouching jab, crouching medium punch. It's been a big deterrent against Yamaguchi's game plan of throwing some of these fireballs.
Finds a whip punch. Here we go, Chaser. From outside the corner. The tech immediately Itazan with just not getting back in the distance. And again, getting these leads quickly. Whether it be off the lights or jump fierce or a few conversions here and there. Light punch again. As EX far to threaten to as well for the extension if he wants for EX. Gabriel punch. Not getting that right range. Yamaguchi even pins to throw a fireball at this distance. Look at that. He can throw out the fireball for free, but doesn't want to as Itazan keeps walking him down.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, the flash knuckle to punish Abigail flip. Rising Rocket. Man, what happened again? Rising Uppercut gets destroyed on this one. Activation, Abigail time. No, not quite dead.
There's one more hit
Not quite.
to do it. And we get see him close it out in the lights. Look at that confidence right here from Itazan. He knows. I can do so much, but Yamaguchi can make the comeback. Might be hard, but the time's winding down. Itabashi just don't activate. I'll hit you with that chip no dip if I gotta do it. Would rather not. Would rather hold on the bar. But look how excited he can wind down with. Sweep.
Oh, that's so dangerous. 12 seconds on the clock. Itazan's gonna be backing up. He's chilling. He's actually chilling. He knows it. He definitely knows it. Yeah, he's forcing the errors from Yamaguchi, and that's gotta be super, super satisfying for Itazan, especially having that full critical art on deck.
Whip punch from the crouch fierce. You let those fly for free. Yamaguchi maybe just not ready. As much as as Itazan is in this match, you see how steady the buttons are from Itazan, how confident he is with these lights. I could get checked with a fierce or medium kick, but here's the crouch fierce. Abigail punching the super. Obviously won't kill, but will put him in that open position and give him a chance to keep that lead up as much as possible. Your back is against the wall. How do you want to be if you're Yamaguchi?
I love that. Just still within range to get the rising uppercut against Itazan. As risky as that can be, I'm glad it landed for the sake of Yamaguchi, because he still needs to get one round on the board.
Walk in and block these fireballs.
Terrifying.
Old school. Light. Oh my God. You're so afraid of just like throwing out a fireball at the wrong time because that fierce might get across. You really haven't seen it too much. But here's Yamaguchi answer back with the crouch beauty kick. Trying to find the jump in. Hold this throw immediately. But Itazan pulling down back just like that to not get opened up with the crouch beauty kick. Again, adjusting his defensive options.
Oh, does get a forward throw. Trigger activation is on deck for Yamaguchi. Watch out now.
China. Crouch beauty kick will definitely do a lot of damage. EX connects. The meek. Yamaguchi still in it. Oh, not dead just yet, but 8 seconds on the clock. Yeah, he's gonna drop hard to close it out against his character. He's got V-trigger on his side, and the armor won't matter because it'll be easy through. Yamaguchi putting one round on the board finally.
Yeah, this is the kind of breakthrough we love to see from Yamaguchi, right? Being able to utilize what he can with that V-trigger. Now, still trying to find a big opening against Itabashi's enemy. There we go, off the wall. We get the perfect flash knuckle and the quarter carry. Plus frames after that, yes sir. It's a forward throw, keeping the plus frames alive. Forward throw yet again. Yamaguchi finding a lot of the big weaknesses against Itazan. Watch out for EX grab, maybe.
The jump in, the back throw for the stun. Yamaguchi getting it done. That burst of aggression, he said, I can't hang back like that anymore. I gotta be confident in my buttons. When we swing out these fierce, when we swing out these mediums and things like that, check him coming in and put him in the corner and put it in to Itazan. I really like the fact that he's like, I have to put him down in the corner. I have to put him down now. Do not let him get back to mid-screen where he feels confident with these lights, with these mediums, the crouching medium punches, things like that. Now we're all evened out. Yamaguchi, fighting back for his team. Be a lot more aggressive.
I was gonna say, were they gonna put Naomi in as a substitution to play for Itabashi in that little little split segment there. We had that transition. But anyways, no, I mean, like, yeah, Yamaguchi showing a little bit of that aggression towards the tail end was something we were expecting. I feel like, you know, when it comes to the defensive play style that Yamaguchi wants to play, that's only going to benefit someone like Itabashi, because once he walks you down, there's no way of getting out of that corner safely. He's going to be pressuring you so well. And again, Itabashi can be a very instinctive kind of player. Like, he's definitely very understanding of the certain scenarios that come his way. He knows exactly like what buttons to press preemptively to stop you and deter you from like utilizing any sort of movement against him or taking advantage against him. That's been like years of like harnessing the grappler playstyle. You have to be like 2 steps ahead of your opponent at all times. But seeing Yamaguchi's offense is a whole different ordeal, especially with the way he's been piloting Luke these last couple of weeks. I gotta say, I'm more so impressed with him being able to switch it on more so than like stay defensive. I think like his offense needs to really shine to close it out against Itabashi.
Right. I mean, there was a time where people really thought that like Luke was supposed to be played in a more defensive style, and he can be, but you can't do that all the way. And I feel like obviously the play styles of the players too, you know, that's going to work against you sometimes. So again, having that aggression, having that burst to switch up with the style to put Itabashi off his game, off his guard. I don't think Itabashi was really expecting that corner pressure, that corner push too as well. But that crush kick coming to the clutch over and over again. Let's see who's gonna get the win. We're at the final game between the two. Let's see what Itabashi does to answer back. What's this rebuttal? Flip kick, gets a counter hit, caught him pressing a button. Now pressing against the wall, closer and closer. How's Yamaguchi gonna answer? Jumping out of there.
That was so smart. Yamaguchi had actually thrown out a crouching light kick to stop Itabashi from trying to jump out. He did get that flip, but now it's gonna be all aggression from Yamaguchi. Nice and easy. Yo, look at the amount of damage and the consistency right now. Yamaguchi is definitely that dude to finish it out and get himself at match point. And boy, oh boy, yo, look at the face of Itabashi right now. He is feeling the pressure.
He was like, dang, where'd that smile go? His smile and optimism gone right now. But Yamaguchi caught up in the corner. We've seen him work out. He's looking for like a medium punch or crouching kick to get out. Flip, trade. A lot more buttons coming from the side. If Itabashi will take that trade, more damage from the deck, and he still has him in the corner. Activation could come through from Yamaguchi.
Oh, does he sweep? I love the discipline from Yamaguchi not going into the trigger off of that hit. Some of the little things. Oh, that's a huge confirm. Are you dead? No, not quite.
Still alive. The anti-air, before he even got off the ground in full, sat back down with the light, and that means that final game, final round between the two. But both have just really turned up my volume. They're both getting really aggressive with the button presses. And you see Itabashi going for jump fierce and jump fireball preemptively. And so much distance on it too as well. But the EX fireball from Yamaguchi gets the knockdown, puts some EX bar, something different with it.
It's still pretty important to note that, again, although they are even in life, Yamaguchi is still kind of playing the counter poke style that he wants and still not able to get some of these. He's still not able to get some of these sandblasters going, right? Itasan is playing at the perfect range to get within crouching jab or crouching medium punch distance. And there we go. Yamaguchi trying to get some space, but the more he backs up, the more he gives Itasan the green light to push forward. And I love that. Yeah, still focusing on the anti-airs.
Holding for as much as possible. For that very reason, to not keep off against the corner. EX fireball gets a drop on him, but careful the bar at the bottom. He's not trying to get in that one-touch situation. He's got a lot to work for, but still. The big boy that can do a lot of damage. Looking for a medium counter hit the back fist. Would love to get that Oki. Ooh.
Got 34 seconds on the clock. Just about dead even. I think Itasan does have, again, full critical art. Any big confirm could lead to big damage as well. Possibly death.
Sweet for crouch fears. Yamaguchi answering back with these buttons. Oh, not the light though. Nothing in the light. That could have been more.
Oh,
time winding down.
Gives him the trigger.
And Yamaguchi can outplay him. Yup.
Oh boy. He's so smart. Look at the aggression from the thermal barrack. Yo, Yamaguchi. 4 seconds he lands it against Itasan. He can't do anything off of this. And that's not going to be enough. The time over victory for Yamaguchi. And there was a slight smirk on his face. This man was confident in his decision making. So well played. Looking like a seasoned veteran himself. Yamaguchi taking it down over Itabashi in a test of patience.
And Yamaguchi, though, you talk about his patience. His defensive play was great, but that aggression. This is what I want to see from Yamaguchi overall, because his defense has been fantastic. We talk about that continuously, but just these bursts of aggression and not walking himself out of the corner too much. We saw him get walked in the corner continuously with those lights. He would get to a certain point, I'd say like 3/4 of the screen, and said, no more. Not me, not again. DP situation against the jump ins, would have an ESRB for the knockdowns or harassing with the medium punches, and then would be careful about what buttons he put out, not losing too much health early in the rounds going down. And that's why we see him taking Itazan down, being that activation state where it's so hard to make the comeback against a character that can be full screen with the shots. It's so hard to make that comeback. Itazan knew it was over at that 2-second point, but man, Yamaguchi, you see the evolution of his loop. Again, you have to have that as a loop player. You cannot just be like, I have better buttons, I have better conversions, things like that. These sequences, I can dump out damage too as well. You have to have a game plan. We saw him start with punishing crouch fears. We saw him have a better game plan in terms of putting the aggression and the economy of buttons better, well spent, and not putting stuff in the corner. Those things that you have to have. You can't just play loop and say, I'm gonna get my W.
Yeah, I gotta say, like, looking at the stats itself, the anti-air is pretty much on point. 75% against Itabashi. That is pretty significant considering, Itabashi does a pretty great job of keeping you so focused on the ground game. But taking a look at the other side as well, the grab throws, look at how many Itabashi has failed to tech. I think that's also a big signifier that Yamaguchi's offense is so hard to contest against that, all right? We talked about how great Yamaguchi is on defense, but what are you going to do about his offensive capabilities, right? Yamaguchi just playing it so well, and it's super impressive to see him evolve week after week, battle after battle, getting 10 points for Shinobiism Gaming. And it's actually, I totally forgot to mention this very big point, Shinobiism Gaming suffering their first loss with Fujimura after like 2 straight weeks of busting everybody's skulls open. These guys have been destroying everybody. They had 80 points. They had 80 points in a row, man. But that's not going to be the case. Their max potential now is going to be 30. That's going to be their best case scenario. And that's something that Momochi is striving for, right? That Cody is going to be in the anchor spot. Who do you send up if you're Kamufa Detonation?
It is so difficult because Momochi is just a dominant player that sitting up anybody against Momochi is like your feet in the lions right here. But I guess I want to see Nauman. I think in the mirror match, we've seen how dominant Momochi can be as he took down Mizuha. Obviously, that was a Mizuha previously before his awakening, you know what I'm saying? But I do feel like Nauman maybe can take him off his game. Nauman also might have other characters to pull out his toolkit. Might see the Kin, something different with it, but I feel like it's going to be so difficult because I watch Momochi play so much on his stream. We watch how optimal he is. He's doing resets with V-Trigger 2 with the pipe, and I'm like, bro, I do not want to be facing off with him. I'll let the other cats have to deal with that. So it has to be Nauman. I feel like it has to be Nauman.
I would like John Takeuchi, to be honest with you. I think John has the stronger Cody. At least within the two. I think in regards to offense, he might be it. But I understand Nauman coming in with maybe Luke. But what's funny is I was actually going to ask you about that. Is Momochi still working on those V-Trigger 2 resets? Is that what you were talking about? I thought I misheard you.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah. Okay.
No, you're right. You're right. Dude, I've been writing those down too. I was like, those are nasty.
Dude, he's been doing that since last month. Like, I would show up like at least like 3 times out of the week when he would stream, and he's literally been working on these setups forever. And it's off of the crouching heavy punch juggle, I think, or like off of the crouching heavy punch reset, I think. But either way, he's been literally doing this for like a month straight. It's crazy. It's so wild to see him like super like insistent on trying to find this mix-up for so long, and I really enjoy that about Momochi's work ethic.
He squeezes a lot of the characters, but when we talk about like Cody's in terms of like who is the best like Cody player, you kind of mentioned that John Takeuchi has some really good strengths. I mean, we've seen him have some really good strengths since he's won a CPT for Japan, which is the most sacked CPT World Warrior event. Even though Momochi has won a CPT, proper. However, like when we compare the styles, you're definitely right in terms of oppression and like offensive approach. John Takeuchi is definitely a lot more out there, and it looks like John Takeuchi is going up. Mochi says in the Cody mirror match, he wasn't expecting this. He thought Oreo and Itabashi-san were going to come up. He's really good at playing the mirror match, so bring it on. You made Momochi say bring it on, the stone-faced killer himself, the leader of the Shinobiism Ninjas. You made him say bring it on. Little John Takeuchi.
Yeah, looking at the current record with John Takeuchi, right? He had a very explosive beginning here at Street Fighter League. I think it was like week 1 where he was like popping off a little bit. Yeah, so he actually got his big victory against Takedo 3-0. Since then, he's been underperforming just a little bit, but it's not like he's been getting like full-on shutouts, right? I think overall he's been getting his gathering little by little, week in, week out. John Takeuchi, I think the only big blowout he's had was against Good 8 Squad against Dogura. But like that was in like the anchor matches. Like he has gone 0-2 in a couple of weeks as well. But overall, it's still going to be John Takeuchi trying to bear it out. I think his offensive capabilities, we talked about this in Naomin's performances. I think John Takeuchi does have that kind of potential. He does have those glimpses of greatness, as we call it, in regards to like how he can play. But it's tough when it's against Momochi. Momochi has been like the prime candidate and the prime shinobi, obviously, for utilizing Cody. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out in regards to like what the mirror match is like for John Takeuchi's experiences.
Right. John T says he's sure that Momochi wasn't prepped, is expecting a mirror match, though Momochi seems confident. He has a better game plan. And honestly, when it comes to game plans, you clearly see it in terms of like setups and things like that with John Takeuchi. He loves to put people in the corner, build up bar before he gets there with a medium kick, and then harass them over and over again. Let's see if that gets the win over Momochi. Is the better coin today. Anchor match. First of 3. Let's see who's going to take it.
We see pretty much the subtleties here. A little bit of a handshake from both ends. There we go. We did the big opener from Momochi's side.
Sway play.
I love this so far.
Both the medium kick right back in it. Yeah. Trying to set up for the medium punch too as well. After the medium kick. I like that button. That back and forth exchange. It's so subtle, it's minute, but it leads to so much damage.
It really does, and that's like the scariest thing about Cody is that he can lead to a lot of these big damage sequences off of stray hits, and we see it kind of being fished from both ends, right? Medium kick is going to be the button of choice for a majority of these rounds, but now we see it switch up a little bit. Within closer contact, we see the medium punches come out.
Okay, John T adding the light kick. EX activation, he's got the knife. Both of them do. He utilizes it. Better normals right here. V skill 2 with the low sway in play, getting the knockdown, trying to catch him with the neutral jump situation, looking out for the EX Zonk for the party starter. Or the V skill 2 party starter too as well. The activation, Dr. Fuji's side.
I love the sway. Yeah, I was going to say, I think it's a little bit too slow to traverse past the EX Tornado. John Takeuchi just wasn't ready for it. Oh boy, a giant jump in Shinobiism's own. Momochi looking to take it away with the time over. He's backdashing, he's chilling, but here comes the tornado. 6 seconds left. He's getting hit by 1. He takes the throw, and he's gonna take it again. Oh wait, what?
The fears of the V shift.
Why?
Ooh, he V shifted immediately on the wake up situation. Fears caught him. I'm not done talking to you. John Takeuchi.
He didn't even need to do that exchange. He could have just sat there and blocked. Oh no. Oh no. And that was the big confidence booster that John Takeuchi needed. Like going into it, like all momentum on his side now. But we see Momochi running out of light, really. That trigger winding down is still at the deficit. But this is going to be important, right? Being able to continue or at least contain John Takeuchi in the corner. It's going to be pretty short-lived, actually.
Activation with the side of John Takeuchi. Now it's turn to have the knives out. EX trying to catch him with the shimmy, no go, but the gray life is rising. So is the damage. Not surprising when you see these knives out. You continues to see the pressure. Like plus frames trying to poke through, but what's the knife with EX on? The light ruffian for the Oki. The back throw was all a bait. This could be Mochi's games to take. He's that one hit. Did he do it? John Takeuchi with the EX fireball to chase him down.
so scary. Yeah, time winding down yet again. 20 seconds on the clock, but it's still enough time for John Takeuchi to get a zonk in. Or sorry, that was Momochi. I blinked and the colors were switched. Shinobi is his own again. Momochi taking it down now, playing the timer scam game.
Definitely see the styles between the two. John Takeuchi a lot more aggressive, but you know, Momochi willing to go for these timeout situations, and maybe not always in the best case that we saw in the first round, but the second round took him down by being a little bit less aggressive and just harassing these normals every so often, looking for an opening. John Takeuchi trying to get aggressive on his own. Crouch Unity kick stops him. Trying to rule some of this fireball, or rule some of the neutral with the fireballs. Put him in the corner. B skill. Keep our belt up.
I love this so far. John Takeuchi still trying his damnedest to keep Shinobi as his own Momochi stuck in this corner.
You kick again. We'd like to get a counter hit situation. That will lead to a lot more damage, but still, he's building a bar. He's hitting him on block. On the combo, on the lock, gets a knockdown. He's got the ace water threat. He'll spin it right here. You really pressed there. Momochi, you demon. You absolute demon with the crouching light kick. Try to get out. He's doing
That's
so
just
with
what
the
it takes, man.
And the medium clutch knight. Yep. Fight back.
30 seconds on the clock now. Still winding down. It's always going to be down to the wire with these two. That is for sure. That is for certain. John Takeuchi getting a throw now. Momochi at a deficit, but he still has so much. He has so much to work with, too.
Trying to pay out reaction with the V skill. Not happening. EX song. Corner push. Anti-air right there. Stays in front, didn't get the chase down. One more hit will do it now. John Takeuchi's game to win. The Raw Ruffian needs to be cooked as John Takeuchi takes the first game.
Cody wins.
That was long fought. That was actually down to the wire. It was always going to be a little bit of seconds left in the clock. And I love John Takeuchi's discipline, and I love him staying dedicated to the cause too, with not panicking with the amount of seconds left every single time. Thus far, I think John Takeuchi's game plan right now, playing it slow against Momochi, he's got that discipline in him, right? He's definitely been a very aggressive player from the start, from like his inception into Street Fighter V with Rashid, but I love him slowing it down. This is a side that we rarely get to see. We've seen a little bit more panic from the side of Momochi, actually, in comparison, which is kind of wild to say, because, you know, we saw that V-shift come out from round number 1. John Takeuchi took full advantage of that. Those are the kind of things that I love to see. Like, you know, Momochi he wants to double down on the timer scam, but he doesn't want to stay as patient towards the very, very end of it, like flinching where it really matters. I love kind of seeing that little human side of Momochi.
Yeah, he was not showing through, but John Takeuchi making that happen. I feel like some of this is predicated on the fact that John Takeuchi starts off real strong with the butt press, the medium kicks, makes him, you know, build all this bar with the EX off, put him in the corner, and then, as you pointed out, slows it down just enough to make Momochi make mistakes. And honestly, I feel like if you're making mistakes like that, that is like, oh man, I don't want to say it's just nerves, but it's like, dang, like, what do I do in these situations? Like, what am I doing against this aggressive character? You see John Takeuchi having a really good game plan for that aggression all the way through the round. For Momochi, I feel like it's a little bit too late, and right now gets a medium in the heavy zonk knuckle and the corner carry off the target combo, harassing with that medium kick over and over again. Forward heavy kick, he landed that raw. Barely ever see that get the hit. John Takeuchi with the timing.
If John Takeuchi pulls this off, I would love to hear what exactly that strategy was, because we kind of see it, but I wanted to know, like, in full depth, like, what it would be. But that's another interview for another time. As it stands right now, Momochi is trying to keep John Takeuchi contained in this corner yet again. You see the space he's playing at now. He's willing to play the chip damage and the gray life game with mediums over and over and over again.
It's actually kind of a book from John Takeuchi we've seen before. Knives at this distance, harassing, bump that gray life, and try to end it. But John Takeuchi knows when to get out. Still pressing, even though that gray life was cranked, is not going to wait to back down at all. And I like that confidence right here from John Takeuchi, that young style. Wild, not mild. Careful, the EX could come into play. So you see the medium kick preemptively too.
You just called it. You just called it too. Yeah, John Takeuchi stuffing out some of the options that Momochi is trying to get in with. That medium kick getting a ton of mileage and still micro walking out of that range of where Momochi's trying to get these throws. John Takeuchi finding an escape and that's going to be more than enough. Yeah, 8 seconds on the clock. Who's going to be the first one to flinch? Stay down, young fella. Stay down again.
Stay down.
That's so good, man. Yo,
what a beautiful timing.
Are you kidding me right now? This guy is playing like an old man, and that's a good thing.
Yes. But with that, just that burst of aggression when need be, right away with the bad sand, not gonna happen. Forward heavy kick, B-skill puts him in the corner. Stuns rising, the throw bait. Now you see Novi is a turn up live volume with the quickness. EX, we got B-skill with the heavy stuff. And you see the opportunity right here from Momochi. He's not done just yet. The medium kick connects. And now you see Momochi forced to turn up, forced to get aggressive, to rumble in the jungle in the same sort of sense that John Takuchi wants to play.
It's the kind of turn up we love to see from both ends. Now we see John Takeuchi being the offensive player that he can be, forcing Momochi to the corner little by little. But no, actually it's, he loses his momentum straight out. There it is. Yeah, we're skipping. We're skipping everything. We skip neutral, we bypass it. Plus frames after the EX song.
Backs away, looking for the activation play. EX interrupts him. He just shot first. John Takuchi just a little bit quicker. Sweep off the feet.
Man, I can't believe we're seeing the same politicians, man. They be fighting against each other.
Yeah.
They be duking it out with knives though. You know, they're going even way past the 1800s. Oh boy. And I love that. Yeah, John Takuchi, you know, that was so subtle too. The jumping heavy punch was gonna be plus enough for you to kind of like get a walk-up throw, potentially, or at least have Momochi fear for it. And John Takuchi, 2 steps ahead, by the way. Standing light kick just a little bit earlier than expecting a grab. So that was super smart from John Takuchi, taking game number 2, I believe.
What are we gonna see? Is Momochi gonna switch that B trigger? Well, I feel like it's not even about B trigger. It's just that John Takuchi is just outplaying him. Faster on the draw with the EX bar, utilizing the EX song, interrupting the EX song from the side of Momochi with the meter kicks to stop him, and then building up bar in that sequence too as well. And then as you pointed out, these some minute differences with the light kick every so often coming through, and the jump heavy punch, and then the light kick catching him, blacking a little bit, slacking. And the fact that he's got this aggression, this burst, and then knows where to slow it down. Momochi, I feel like, doesn't know how to have that same sort of aggression continuously. Like, he's great with the head confirms and things like that, optability. We saw him turn up just a little bit on that second round, but to stay in that same sort of like hit on, you know, going on go, like foot on the pedal, isn't the same sort of style that we typically see from Momochi. Like, that's outside of his comfort zone. For John Takuchi, he loves rumble that jungle. He's like, that's fine. He said, come play where I play. Come to my hood.
Yeah. I think it's a very valid point. I think, you know, John Takeuchi has been one of the more offensive players within the set, or actually within the league thus far, and has been easily the more offensive player between these two. But we'll see if Momochi has something different.
Aim point right here for John Takuchi. Heavy's on. Are landing a lot of damage. Love that he's getting more of these heavies on, because I feel like that's one thing that he's improved upon this season. And for good reason, you land a lot of damage when you do so. Get the corner carry.
You see the damage output still being shown off by Momochi, having the right routes every single time, being so optimal. And I love that, yeah, utilizing the neutral jump, but that's actually that was so unfortunate that he didn't get anything out of that. In fact, it puts him in the corner.
The right deal, just wrong execution, wrong timing. Now John Takuchi looking to find that activation. There's no V-bar at the bottom of the side. The activation for Momochi. That's meant for defense. All this offense with the lights, EX. Back to the middle of the screen, but I feel like John Takuchi's fine with this. He's like, I can pressure you back with the medium. Not spinning for anything ridiculous. Just medium, over and over again. Push him to the corner. Knife throw, the challenge though. Mochi. Dangerous.
I love that. Yeah, John Takeuchi gets the follow up after the tornado. The crouching light kick. This is actually going to spell so much danger for John Takeuchi. Frames after that, John Takeuchi's fighting for his life.
10 seconds on the clock, winding down. Mochi about to end this round with the time over. Trying to find the jump and trying to catch him lacking. Again, the jumping situation. Trying to find the jumping. Heavy kick. John Takeuchi wasn't able to do it. Just a little bit inside Momochi. Saving on set point. Good stuff.
Still absolutely close down to the wire every single time. Momochi is looking to get his first game, right? Starting things off with the time over, but now John Takeuchi is being the one outclassed and counterpoked.
Walking down with the medium kick. But again, that aggression really coming more from the side of John Takeuchi. He tried to go for the jump, anti-air right there. All the buttons. Momochi playing his playstyle. He's going back to the way he used to play. Back to the more calculated button presses, a little bit less aggressive with it. Again, trying to find that neutral jump against the Zong. V skill that distance to the knockdown. So that V bar. Momochi looking real dominant though.
Yeah, we're talking about full domination, right? Pretty much near perfect thus far. Up until this point, classic commentator's curse. We got the knife out, but it's going to be Momochi still trying to fight back. Still throwing a couple of these counter pokes in. Even John Takeuchi with the trigger can't find his way in just yet.
Immaculate defense right here to block these out. Obviously, this adds up in great life, but rather not get hit and open up. Activation now on the side of Momochi. His turn to party. He's spinning a lot for the knife. Oh, the interruption on the EX Zonk was ready and steady to find a punish. It's one thing to interrupt the EX Zonk. It's another to hide something on the deck with it. Still had the bar at the bottom to spin for the end. And now we see finally a win on the side of Momochi. Getting back to the playstyle that he wanted to play at. Less aggression, less overextension. Just a wall of buttons, but a little bit more confident and better place up in the space. Momochi, not done yet.
No, yeah, not even close. I think we're starting to see that aggression. We were talking about that earlier. We're starting to see a lot more confidence in the counter poke game coming in from Momochi, which is exactly what we highlighted. One of the biggest adaptations we wanted to see is whether or not Momochi can get that offense to shine and outshine someone like John Takeuchi. We're starting to see that a lot more present in this game, and we love seeing how this plays out even further. I want to know now, what's it going to be for John Takeuchi? Is he going to play a little bit more of the passive style? Is he actually going to be putting himself on the back foot against someone like Momochi in the upcoming games?
I feel like V-Trigger has to be utilized a little bit better. I feel like that's not been a big opener anymore or big deterrent to Momochi because A, John Takeuchi doesn't get the lead as much as he'd like to. I feel like he's like lacking a little bit. So Momochi's trying to block it out. And then B, he's not really finding these openings off the whip punishes, things like that, because to be honest, Momochi isn't presenting buttons to be whip punished or be opened up in. And Momochi's defense has been a lot better, but round start with the offensive forward heavy kick or get some corner carry. John Takeuchi answering back with the medium. As soon as I say that, answering back with the medium punch to delete that blessed button off the table.
And again, being on the back foot wasn't necessarily the play for John Takeuchi, as you see Momochi being the aggressor now, pushing him towards the corner and occupying. Yeah, he's playing the counter pull game. And I love that preemptive standing medium kick, stuffing out the dash. The attempt from John Takeuchi, the throw bait as well, but still Momochi not being able to confirm, and a big critical error, a mental error as well, coming in from John Takeuchi, starting to weigh him down a little bit and make some of these subtle but very critical mistakes.
EX soft round start, and already in the court, that knockdown. Anti right there, of course. The chase down with the standing fears. Bring out that fireball too as well. In close range, hard to call up with the V skill too. But here's John Takeuchi, has him in the corner, has to make the most of this. You see how difficult it is. The upgraded defense on the deck. Oh, as soon as I say that, off the backboard. Oh, Globetrotters.
Oh, with a big whiff punish from the side of John Takeuchi. We see a little bit of overzealousness coming in from Momochi with that forward roundhouse just outside of range, and he's going to pay for it dearly. Did my man throw a knife off screen just to reload another knife? I hope he doesn't regret that. All right, he's just fine. John Takeuchi also building up even more meter to get himself prepared for what could potentially be the victory over Team Shinobiism. Match point for the young man.
Looking for it. Try to press after the EX situation. No go. Don't be doing that. That's plus. And it's positively up in the corner right now. Offer those mediums. Is Momochi harassing with the EX. He need to be reversal, but he's still caught in the corner. Just leaving gaps just to block that out like that, knowing that that was going to come through from John Takeuchi. Anti-air. So ready. Momochi's so steady.
Oh. And now we see Momochi taking it all back, by the way. We get a forward fierce, or sorry, forward heavy punch, roundhouse, excuse me. Whoa, hello. John Takeuchi. He's trying to reclaim the W against Momochi, but it's looking pretty grim as the knife's already out. Don't call it over yet.
EX.
I don't want to curse it.
Uh-oh, don't even call it a comeback. Just like that, the tech. Oh, the EX. War decision. The tech again. Anybody's game, the sway and play against the theme reversal. How did he know that was going to come out? Momochi.
This guy is the Sharingan, man. I'm telling you, man, he is the prime suspect in the murdering of John Takeuchi. He has the Sharingan installed. I'm telling you right now, that was ridiculous. That was absolutely bonkers for him to do that.
Clutch from Momochi to bring it back from the brink. This was looking like defeat. It was looking like John Takeuchi had in the bag that more aggressive style, the enders, everything in his hand. But now John Takeuchi trying to ride it back, trying to take everything back. His family and friends doing it for them.
He's trying to avenge his whole clan right now.
So those medium kicks, of course, the medium punch too as well, trying to come through. Find a conversion or a zonk. He's doing it raw to make him fall. Gets the counter in addition. Allows for that fierce in the middle of that combo and the corner carry, the throw. Oh, the EX connects off that medium. One more touch, and the back throw will get the stun and done. Momochi, he's in his bag. It's I'm the leader of the clan. You just a fan.
We're starting to see Momochi coming in with full adaptation. John Takeuchi talking about the strategy that he had implemented, or he was planning to implement, being better than Momochi's. It's not the case right now. Momochi starting things off, getting that lead and the momentum, pushing John Takeuchi to that corner. And again, there we go, the big opener. The EX Zonk will watch out for that throw. A big tech from John Takeuchi, trying to check. He does get it. Standing median is the starter. It's time to have fun. John Takeuchi starting to cut up Momochi. A couple of the knives touching for some chip damage.
In the corner, but there's that EX Zonk. He's been so ready and steady with that low ruffian for the Oki. Now it's my turn to party. Knives out. You know what it's about. How about to put you in the corner with this pressure? Look at that knife spin situation, the knife throw to get as much gray life on the deck. Blocks it out. The tech too as well. The defense from Momochi right now is next level to not get hit in the sequences.
Look at that, just so intimidating, walking back and forth menacingly against John Takeuchi, looking for any sort of normal to poke against. Yeah, he's just trying to right now standing medium punches to insert John's movement. A big air again, in and out of the ranges. Momochi with the utmost confidence in that strut. You could see the confidence coming from him. He was talking about that mirror match, and he was ready for it. Absolutely ready for it. That is 3 games to 2 against John Takeuchi. Momochi and Team Shinobiism gather themselves 30 points. That is 110 thus far in 3 days. St. Cola, 3 days, 110 points. That is more than some of the teams that have shown up to play thus far in like what they have. I mean, Camouflage Nation, I think they just got themselves 100 points, by the way. Yo, Shinobiism Gaming did that within 3 days.
3 days. Quickly. A massive points, but it makes sense because they have a massive team of talent right here. And Momochi coming up on the deck for that anchor match, the mirror match, where it felt like John Takeuchi had so much dominance, that aggression going and flowing, that pressure up in the corner. I feel like we saw Momochi actually take pages from the book of John T to make it free. I won't even say free, to be honest. He routed it back. It was definitely hard fought. But the fact that he put a lot of pressure up in the corner with the knife throw, having the knives out with the mediums and not really spinning too much. And then we saw him start to interrupt John Takeuchi like John Takeuchi did to him with the medium kick. Interrupt the EX Zonks. And was always ready to have that right timing for the EX Zonk, leading John Takeuchi's rhythm. It took a while. It was almost out of his hands. But Momochi was able to take it in the mirror match, saying that he was very prepared. He was definitely prepared. More than John T was, just a little bit more. Taking it for his team. Man, I can't wait to see what his words are, because mirror match is so weird. I'm curious to see what do you do to train for a mirror match besides study the person and the minute things that happen in a mirror match between the same character.
I think that's all you can do, right? Like you explore the ins and outs of your character to the utmost potential, and then you pretty much have to figure out how the other person plays too. That's literally all you could really ask for. And Momochi had exclaimed it, right? We've seen this from his streams as well. He'll invite so many different players to like battle lounges and just grind out some of these matches, more so than the other players we've seen thus far. Like I know we both watched Tokido. Tokido does take his time. He puts a tweet out to say like, hey, I have this lobby open. I'll take all challenges from certain levels or whatever. But Momochi, he'll go out of his way to like talk to other players and be like, yo, I need to run sets against you for like specific matches or whatever. So I see that a lot more with Momochi than I do with other players, and we do see that confidence coming in because of the fact that he has that matchup down.
Fujiwara himself saying that he didn't personally do well, but his teammates were awesome. Yamaguchi said, honestly, rereading my match against Itazan, it wasn't about tactics more so, but he's glad to have won. So it seems like it was more about feeling for him to feel out those buttons to get the win, you know, with the fierce things like that, the interruptions. Momochi-san also did so well in later halves, what Yamaguchi said. You know, back to Momochi and how he plays a lot of people. You point out that he's playing a lot of people. He's playing like gold, he's playing diamonds, he's playing silvers, he's playing everybody around the board, and just getting that idea of playing humans, playing people, matchups too as well, but just playing the player a lot, because you never know who's going to come through in your brackets, what tendencies they might have. So I like that dissection of the game and becoming a master of fighting games more so than just a master of Street Fighter, your character, like Cody.
It's so funny. Whenever we get the winning interview from like the person in the reserve, it's always like, I'm so glad I got to witness the ending of it all, because like even from a commentator's perspective or even just like a viewer in the chat's perspective, it's like it gets pretty intense. But being on that team is a whole different kind of viewing experience. So like Johnny, man of little words on that one, he's just pretty ecstatic about it. But all he said really was anchor match. Like he was just super excited, just like watching how it pretty much how it unfolded before him. And we do get a couple of extra words coming in from Momochi. I'd imagine there's a lot to be said in regards to what they're going to do in preparation for the second half of the season. Right now it's going to be the run back for everybody, and I'm really curious to see how they're going to sharpen up Cody and the bodyguards is what I'm going to say. Like Cody, the two Lukes from Fujimura and Yamaguchi, and I also want to know what the Swanky Ninja is going to do to offer an advantage for some of these big home field advantages, right? I want to know what Johnny's going to bring to the table with his G play. He's been immaculate thus far. I think he's been doing pretty damn well for himself. I want to know exactly what it's going to be for Shinobi's and Gaming. They're one of the teams to look at right now with the amount of points they just got. They put themselves at 190 points, still within earshot against the #1 squad, and actually take over as the #2, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, you're right. Viceroy leaves with nothing today, but a fantastic play. Mochi's team is able to solidify their spot in the second, and not that far from Good 8 Squad. Again, last season it felt like Good 8 Squad was so far away from other teams where it's like, okay, well, Good 8 Squad at this point is probably going to be in the standings, in the running for the competition for the finals. Right now, I really don't know if that's going to actually be the case. I mean, this squad will maybe be up, and there's a good chance for them to be up there. But for them to be challenged in this distance in terms of points means that it's so hard to call. Momochi said that John had prepped so well, so it wasn't usually the order that he had expected, and I think a lot of people wasn't really expecting to see the mirror match. But Momochi as a result, he struck with Luke. I'm not sure what he means by that, but he went with the mirror match and was able to pull it out. And Momochi's already been set up with that mirror match. We already saw how that worked against Mizuha. Worked out really well against John Takuchi. But not for nothing, John Takuchi definitely had some good moments. Like, you definitely do the mirror match too as well. That medium kick with the interruption against the song, with the aggression, but just wasn't able to get enough off the beat trigger. I think that was kind of the tail of the tapes. Towards the end, you're not able to get enough off the knife, where that deals a lot of damage to the plus frames. And you're not able to get that comfortability with the forbidden nuke. So Mochi just working out better. Mochi says he lost the first game because of his miss. First half he was losing, so he thought of changing character, but he's glad he stuck to the same character. Vicious, I wonder who he would have picked as a secondary.
I'd imagine it was Luke. I think that's the character he's also kind of like flexed with on his stream, but not as much as Cody. I don't think seeing a CFN, I don't think he would have been comfortable enough with Luke regardless. So I don't know how much of that like kind of really holds weight in regards to like him switching off to like other characters, because Cody's been like his pretty much speed for these last couple of months. But looking into it, he did mention, you know, teasing the idea, maybe having another character, like maybe Akira. I think Akira has been a character he's been exercising for a while as well. But looking at the stats right now, anti-air department, pretty much on point for Momochi. The amount of throws, can we talk about this real quick, Nicola? 18 throw attempts from both sides, you know? That's pretty wild.
I mean, it makes sense. You think about the game plan from Cody off of Zong, off of a crouching medium punch when it comes to like the V-trigger situation. Like, you're definitely going for those, peppering those in to kind of find an opening. But however, for them to attack that many times, like, is real dangerous considering the result, the amount of damage. And look at the results right here on the screen. Shinobi is gaming with that 30. With Detonation leaving with 10 in the end. That's not bad. Leaving with something. Unlike the other team, Nagoya Ojibari Milladam, who's leaving with nothing. But man, oh man, I would like to see the Akira. I'm gonna go back a little bit. I would like to see the switch, but he was just fine with the Cody pick. I can't wait to see if we do see a different character from Momochi. We've seen some of these teams pick out different characters if they need be. When we get the second half, we might be seeing like, okay, I'm ready for your Cody play. What about my Lucia? What about like my Zeku or my Ken or something like that? That could happen. So I'm excited to see what they do in this rebuttal as these teams go for the rematches. Looks like next time we'll be fighting Good 8 squad, the top team. So number 1 and 2 fighting it next time.
Let's take a look at the replays and how it all went down for both of these teams, right? We saw Urio having a fantastic start. We're starting to see him come into his own with the amount of confidence and the aggression overall against someone like Fujimura, who can be pretty aggressive himself. And we saw a little bit of the trickster at play with that pretty flashy reset, right? The good old, I feel like that's like the more of like the American reset more than the Japanese one. But we did see the glimpses of greatness here from the replays, the side switch as well, and just catching Fujimura, putting his hands in places where he shouldn't, right? Getting caught in the cookie jar. Urio, again, popping off right after. We start to see the greatness there from Fujimura as well, right? We see the amount of patience he has in certain gameplays, the reactions he has in utilizing that V-trigger moment into critical art, but it just isn't going to be like enough overall because Urio, again, we've seen how offensive he can be. He had a lead, and he was actually putting some of the thermal barracks to the face. He was not afraid to take that damage. He's like, if I get rid of that trigger, I'm totally fine with that.
Absolutely. Now let's go back to the Yamaguchi match. Now after he has said that it was more about like the feeling, looking back at this match, it kind of makes sense. Look at how just aggressive that he gets, and I feel like maybe he was trying to play that kind of style, like trying to get into certain distances and find the medium punches, things like that, and it just allowed Itazan to catch him while he was contemplating things. And you see Itazan getting a super right here, getting the first game on the board, but then Yamaguchi was able to run it back with a lot more aggression. Instead of just contemplating the background, putting fist to face, you see him get real aggressive in this space, up in this place up in the corner, over and over again with the throws, and just more corner pressure over and over again. And even that's risky with the jump in, but still able to seal it with just, it felt once again more like feeling, like he was feeling, oh, I can get these jump ins, I can challenge these buttons instead of saying at this distance I can do this and that. You know, I feel like that kind of helped him get more confident with his button presses and stop someone like Itazan, who had been preemptively stopping with jumping fears, lights and things like that against the fireballs. And look at that, in that distance, so hard to stop a character from full screen. Nothing Itazan could do to get through.
Yeah, that was really rough. Going into it as well, this is the matchup that John Takeuchi was actually planning to take advantage of. We saw a little bit of a mishap, a significant one at that actually, from the side of Momochi, where John Takeuchi actually got to punish that V-shift, but we started to see a lot of the offensive nature from Momochi, or at least the potential of it, really early on. But a lot of the counter-poking coming in from John Takeuchi as well. I loved seeing the way that he was utilizing his tactics against Momochi. Of course, we see how much of an impact that strategy took against the matchup, but it was 2 games to nothing. Right? 2 games to nothing. There were so many moments where John Takeuchi actually had match point, but ends up losing, falling short 3 games straight because of Momochi finally turning it on.
Absolutely. Good stuff from Momochi to run it back, because it really felt like John Takeuchi understood the matchup, but Momochi able to find whip punishes, get more confident, and as soon as those exhausts were starting to land in the last match, I knew it was over like that, because just being able to find that moment to catch him lacking, the anti-airs, the shimmy situation, it was all there. Momochi proving why he is the head of the clan of Shinobi Gaming and taking it over the other team in that mirror match, and again solidifying his spot as, I would say, probably the best Cody, but not for John Takeuchi, still one of the strongest out in the business, probably second spot, to be honest, and not too far behind Now, we see all these teams coming up, getting their victories. A blowout on the side, previously when it came to the Royal Ultra Body Start, we not able to get the points up on the deck, and leaving with nothing. But Shinobiism Gaming will leave with 30. And being in that second place spot changed quite a bit, They're going up. You see right here on the screen, Yogun leaving with that 40 against Milodon. Those people expected that. And Shinobiism Gaming leaving with 30 against the 10 for Detonation.
Yeah, I think week 6 and week 7 have been pretty explosive thus far. We've seen a lot of 40-point games and a lot of big-time blowouts too, with even 30 to 10s. But it shakes up the leaderboards pretty significantly. But it's not even close to over for week number 7. This is next week's schedule, really. I can't even remember what day it is sometimes, but it is still going to be technically week 7, day 2. It's V6 plus FAV Gaming going up against Hiroshima Team Ikuza. Then, of course, Saishun Kansol Kumamoto facing off against Good 8 Squad. This is the schedule you can expect. Again, it's going to be the pretty much same song and dance every Tuesday and every Friday. St. Cola and I are going to be throwing it down. You guys do not want to miss how it turns up in the run back. St. Cola, it's been an absolute pleasure. Take us out of here, man.
Listen, people, make sure you keep it locked and loaded on all the applicable channels for Capcom, and also make sure that you are watching the CPT World Warrior event for Japan. Until then, we'll see you in the streets. Peace.
またね。